So what you're saying is you need someone to spy on all the guests.
Someone sly and crafty.
Someone who's willing to break all the rules to get what he wants.
You know, we don't come cheap.
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Season 2 is not joking around. Except for every other line in the TV show because it's a sitcom and that's kind of how it's written. My point is Disney went all out on this season. After 26 amazing Season 1 episodes of these two twin blonde boys running around a hotel causing hijinks, they finally said it's time for a second season. Now the first season was full of arguments between Zack and Cody, Maddie and London, Mr. Mosby, it's about growing up, and it's all around really good. But the second season, this is when things really took a turn. It wouldn't be the first season that you'd find Maddie and London in Catholic school, would it? Would you see Arwen with a full head of hair and a national bowling champion plaque trophy? And what if I tell you those boys are peeping on girls? All this and so many crazier stories go into this new season of Zack and Cody. Now, they've had controversial episodes in the past. That's So Raven is most notable for tackling harder subjects in a really meaningful way. And I definitely get that vibe from Zack and Cody as Disney starts making stuff more family-friendly and less edgy. But I definitely get that edgy vibe from Sweet Life. It kind of reminds me of Drake and Josh in the earlier seasons as I'm watching it. But there are some really crazy things that happen that can only be told through an episode-by-episode, in-depth synopsis. And that's what I do best and want to do with you guys once again. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny2000, and it's time to dive in to the Sweet Life once again. After the first season retrospective, I thought it was only necessary to jump into the second season. Unfortunately, nobody told me the second season was 39 episodes. After doing 26, I was exhausted. Fitting it into an hour was pretty tiring. And while I'm not super proud of that video because it was still like at my earlier YouTube days, I really want to take this one with care. So I'm going to break it down into three separate videos. With the first selection being the first 15 because it's when I started to notice a change with Dylan and Cole Sprouse. And I feel like the middle part is a different era. But this transitional period into Season 2 is full of fun road bombs, hilarious jokes, and so much more hijinks in the Tipton. So without further ado, we might as well just dive in. So The Sweet Life starts Season 2, Episode 1, Odd Couples, out on a really strong note. Like, no longer do the boys have short, blonde cut hair, they're slightly older. And we get a glimpse into their room for a really extended amount of time. I'm not actually used to seeing it this much. They're bickering in a way that kind of reminds me of 2.5 Men.
She'll be ticked, and I am not. Repeat not. Not.
If you see the way these guys argue, it just feels a lot like it. Cody wants to keep the room clean, and Zack just doesn't care. And when their friends come over to play their game, Cody is a lot more of a host than Zack is. They end up in constant disagreement, with their friends even getting in the middle of it.
I'm not gonna have you guys playing Total World Conquest if it leads to fighting. Okay, that sounded odd.
And in this one, Zac Efron actually plays a genius. This is a lot like the Drake and Josh episode Smart Girl, where Drake wants to appear smart to impress a girl. And in this episode, London is trying to appear smart to impress a guy. And it's Troy Bolton.
Saturday? Do you like modern art?
Oh, I liked anybody named Art, and I don't care how old they are.
And he's a genius, and Zac Efron's actually pretty good at playing a genius. I actually didn't watch High School Musical before I watched Sweet Life, and I thought he was actually like this. I don't know why. Which is funny, though, because London actually does what Justin does to her in the Sweet Life on Deck crossover. Yeah, do you guys remember that? In the Sweet Life crossover, Justin pretends to be smart to impress London Tipton. And it doesn't work. Maddie and London are essentially the Drake and Josh episode. This plotline is just completely that. The argument escalates so much that Cody threatens to move out, but not out of the apartment into the closet, just not in Zach's room, which is a really funny concept.
The coat closet!
I miss him already.
Maddie helps London try to impress this guy by giving her a chip so she could speak into her ear, and this is exactly like the Drake and Josh episode.
So what's your favorite class?
Upper.
That's a great one, if you can get into it.
London thinks it's an actual chip and throws it in her mouth, which is really funny. Meanwhile, Cody is having the time of his life, apparently, in this 6x6 closet, which is hard for me to believe. When Zack's trying to play with his friends, they're almost uninterested in hanging out because of how much fun supposedly is going on in Cody's closet. Which how? One by one, they ditch Zack to go hang out at Cody's, which is fair because Zack, you do not keep the room clean. Sorry. London's attempts to impress Zac Efron fail as he keeps talking about anti-environmental stuff and Maddie becomes angry. Like, obviously, they get into a big fight and end up kissing, which I don't know why London wouldn't be super angry at this. Like, this is your date and it's kissing Maddie and you're just casual about it?
Wow, didn't see that coming. Boy, I wonder what they'd do if they liked each other.
Meanwhile, Zack tries to confront Cody, but he sees how cool his room is. And also at the same time, they have like the maid service and the cleaning lady all come in as if it's like his own room. And this bit is super funny, where constant people are coming in. I don't know, this joke is just really classic. I haven't really seen it done in other shows, like making such a small place fit so many people, but it's genius. Eventually, Zack gets kicked out and has to do a gesture to Cody to get him back. He cleans up the entire room, and Cody is moved, and therefore he moves back. The end. In the next episode, we have French 101. So Cody and Zack are coming in from playing football when they see a French girl. Zack tries to hit on her, and it doesn't really work out. And Mr. Mosby is like, guys, knock it off. Because his father actually really already hates America, and he needs to impress him by allowing him to stay at the Tipton, which is pretty much the concept for most of these episodes. But Zack ignores it, because he obviously likes a girl, and he's not afraid to break the rules. In the B-plot, Esteban catches London about to be robbed by a purse snatcher.
Oh, no one assaults a woman while Esteban who the record on
Okay, we don't have time for your whole name!
Smart calling it a purse snatcher instead of like a robber or like a thief. I don't know why they had to call it that. Esteban embarrasses himself trying to save the day, and London ends up beating up this guy. It's one of those plots where one character doesn't look cool, so obviously he wants to prove himself, and this has been done before. Meanwhile, Cody is kind of sad because he might have liked that French girl, but obviously he gives every girl to Zack. And Carrie even encourages him to try to get the girl despite Zack having dibs. Meanwhile, Zack is trying to clean up and impress this girl, which he's so funny with a hair wash on.
I'm gonna get somebody to translate. That's a great idea. Mind if I borrow it? Didn't think so.
Meanwhile, Arwen runs to tell all the staff about what he heard about Esteban.
Where? Oh, everybody!
But they're already convened. Esteban is so embarrassed. Arwen tries to make him feel better by saying she was a big, scary girl, but I don't know, it doesn't work. Meanwhile, Cody tries to work the moves on the French girl by asking Mosby to translate for him. Smart. They interrupt the dinner, and Zack ends up coming too, to try to steal her from under Cody.
Mosby, tell her Cody still has guardrails on his bed.
Sorry, I'm working for your brother.
But it's crazy because she actually might like Cody more. She even ends up going on a date. And it's funny how Mosby is so tied into this because the dad needs to be impressed to a point where Mosby is willing to follow Cody on this date and translate for him so she has a good time.
For me? You shouldn't have.
Different Jolie. Somebody has to show some class on this date.
Cody heads out with Mosby and the flowers, which is inappropriate, but it's funny. Meanwhile, Zack is having a hissy fit because obviously he wanted the girl, but is not willing to do as much work. Later, Maddie, London, and Arwen team up to help Esteban by impersonating a purse snatcher so he could save the day. When Maddie finds herself in the situation that they planned, but then Arwen comes, so it turns out to not actually even be Arwen. It's a real purse snatcher.
You were supposed to be that purse snatcher out there!
Was that tonight?
Yes!
This is terrible. What a tragic mistake. Are you gonna want your money back?
But it's good though because Esteban finally takes him down and gains his confidence back. And it's fairly earned, so that's kind of cool. Meanwhile, Cody's at the dance with the French girl and just has to go on his date with Mosby there at the same time. Things all go well until Zack shows up insistent on trying to win back the girl because apparently all's fair in love and war, which I don't know if I agree with. Bob joins Cody and keeps joking that it's a date with him, which is kind of funny.
Okay, but next time you're taking me to a movie.
It's not a date!
And Zack does not know French still, so he cannot compete with Cody. After a while, Cody realizes that Bob's just trying to distract him, so he confronts Zack, and the two fight, obviously. Meanwhile, Mosby kind of gets the dance floor for a moment, and that's funny. Cody ends up even offending the French girl, and ruins it because of Zack. Aww. Later, Zack feels terrible, and tries to make it up to Cody by asking the girl to give him another chance. But then she ends up kissing him. Oh man. And obviously Cody is mortified, but once everything's cleared up, Bob ends up walking away with her, and the motto, all's fair in love and war, really comes through. We get a little dance sequence with all the main characters at the end, and it's cute. This episode's really good at leading into what Sweet Life of Zack and Cody does best, and I love the twists that go with the purse snatcher. I don't know why, it's just really funny. The next episode we have season 2, episode 3, Daycare. So Zack and Cody have to take care of kids in place of Maddie. They kind of get a taste of their own medicine and what it's like to raise a bunch of crazy kids, because they're crazy kids at the Tipton. Zack does this all to impress Maddie, but it's not really talked about that much. Oh, we see a little Rico in this episode. Isn't that cool? He's like one of the little deviants.
They're blonde and they're hard to see. Yeah, all 2 of them.
And even the little blonde girl is scary too. Meanwhile, London is actually teaching Mosby and Carrie how to de-stress, which is kind of relevant because that is something she's good at, not feeling stressed. She even has this technique that kind of makes everybody pass out, but they love it because they're adults and stressed all the time. London takes him to a yoga class and ends up contradicting everything the teacher says, which is so rude.
Well, I have been teaching yoga for 20 years.
Badly.
And I was worried this wasn't going to be relaxing.
Esteban sings this like really offensive song about chickens getting their heads chopped off, and it's really funny. When Maddie returns, she finds out that all the kids have ran away. Oh my gosh. The kids go haywire all around the hotel, and Zack and Cody essentially have to stop them. They're like going crazy and like drawing on the walls and like being chaotic in a way that Zack and Cody actually weren't. They even take around a giant net to try to catch them. Cody ends up getting tied up in this endeavor, and watching all these kids go nuts is so funny. Maddie has to get involved, and her, Esteban, Zack, and Cody all have to wrangle the kids. It's cool that Zack and Cody aren't so young in this that they can't interact with the older kids. Like, I feel like a lot of the first season was them all on their own separate plots, but this time it feels like everybody's weaved in a lot better. The kids end up barging into the yoga class that London has been teaching, and Mosby's able to solve the problem, kind of reducing his stress. And that's how it ends. Okay, next we have Hex Kitchen, which is an obvious parody of Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. It's that show where he goes to different restaurants. Oh wait, no, that's Kitchen Nightmares. Whatever, it's about a Gordon Ramsay. So the chef is back from season 1, and him and Cody are close. He's really nice to Cody, kind of mentoring him on the chicken Paolo. Zack wants Cody to come see a girl he sees, but Cody is much more into cooking, which I wish he would do this a little bit more. Like, he never really has a passion outside of being smart, and I wish the passion was cooking. Like, he seems like in his element here. Meanwhile, Iana has a skin rash, and that's London's dog, and she wears a collar too to make her feel better, which is actually kind of sweet of her.
She accidentally ate some dog food.
Oh, poor dog.
Mosby tells Zack and Cody that they need to stay out of the kitchen because there is a food critic coming. He realizes, though, that the boys might actually be able to help him find out who the food critic is going to be. So they actually team up to work with them. He gives the boys all the knowledge he has, and they go to investigate.
An old Asian man, a cowboy, a woman.
And a giraffe? Wow, he's good.
So sorry. That's from my trip to the zoo.
Meanwhile, Maddie accidentally eats Iana's skin cream? Oh my gosh, ew. One by one, as Zack and Cody try to find out who who the critic is, they offend like everybody at the hotel. And they even refer to this guy as like an old Chinese man, which is weird because the subtitles say he's speaking Japanese, and those are different cultures. They purposely try to take off his beard because they think it's fake.
I can't! We need to cut it off!
No cut, no cut!
Hurry! I can't! Mom said not to run with scissors!
And it's like, obviously he could be a critic and still have a real beard. I don't know why that's an issue. But they cause a huge scene in the lobby. Zack and Cody realize that it has to be this cowboy. He gives all the right signs of being the food critic, and they essentially tell Mosby, who they all prepare to get ready the dish for. Although things go completely crazy in the kitchen, London actually offends the chef.
Apologize to Chef Paolo immediately.
Chef Paolo, I'm sorry you can't cook.
I'm a quit again!
And he quits, which is fair, and takes the staff with him, which definitely makes it harder for everyone. Cody knows how to cook because of that little Chef Paolo moment earlier, so he kind of saves the day. The cast join him in the kitchen, which is kind of funny. I like that they found a way to make that happen. And now it's like all hands on deck. And I'm not making a pun on Sweet Life on Deck. That's not a good show.
This is my crack staff?
So the critic actually tries to order the seafood medley instead of the chicken palo, which is the only thing Cody knows how to cook. So they spend time trying to convince him, and it's funny, they don't get to. They end up causing more issues than good, knocking out all the waiters, and the entire rest of the episode is in the kitchen, which is kind of cool. Like, instead of an A and B plot, they kind of interweave them to be together. I can't believe how long this episode is. London and Maddie make horrible salads. I'm like, do you guys know how to make salads?
Speaking of which, where's Zack with the squid? Ah! Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up!
Eventually, everybody turns against Cody for being bossy, which is kind of crazy because he's the only one not ruining everything so far until the food actually catches fire. Apparently, Cody wants to be like Chef Paolo, and Carrie is basically like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you can't mistreat people. And that's a fair message, but most of the episode hasn't really been about that, so I don't know why we're going to that. They end up coming through on the food, making the perfect stuff. It ends up not being the real critic.
Aren't you the critic?
Actually, I'm the critic, and I'm going to give this place such a bad review, people are going to pay not to eat here.
The actual critic gives them another chance, and just in time, they have Chef Paolo come back, and it's a happy ending. I did not want to see them try to make another meal. But yeah, it's fun to get a new insight into this one particular part of the hotel. Like last time we got the daycare, today we have the kitchen. It just seems like this is like a world of episodes we have.
I'm a quit again! Oh, no, mommy! We need you!
Okay, next we have Free Tippy. So Zack and Cody want a pet, so Carrie gives them rocks. Okay, fair. Cody's actually satisfied, which is funny, but Zack isn't.
I'm gonna name mine Tim!
They greet Tippy and the man who carries a carriage around the hotel, telling them that he's about to retire, and that they sold Tippy. But Zack and Cody are really upset, and they're convinced that Tippy is not ready to retire. There's a transition in this that I've never seen. It's like one of the bellhops moving the luggage, which is insane. How have I not seen this? Meanwhile, Maddie and London have an argument because London wants to borrow Maddie's grandma's brooch, but she obviously does not want that to happen. Inevitably, London actually loses this brooch and shows the difference between how her and Maddie view money. Like, London sees it as not a big deal, and it's really, that's kind of messed up. Meanwhile, Mosby tries to impress another person that has to be fitting into the Tipton. Mrs. D, I think her name is. But Zack and Cody say Mosby's heartless because they're trying to forcibly retire Tippy.
What wild imaginations they have.
So it would seem.
Go.
Zack and Cody sneak Tippy in past the guard and go to Arwen. And this kind of relationship, like Zack, Cody, and Arwen with the janitor, reminds me of Ned Mose and the janitor in Ned's Declassified. Like, it's a very similar relationship. Turns out that Arwen is actually allergic to Tippy, but he agrees on taking care of him. Why did you do this?
You're the best, Arwen.
Hey, how many Arwens do you know? Oh, I get it. Go.
And then there's another transition. What the heck is this front desk thing? I like these. How come they don't, like, happen again? So the man buying Tippy approaches Mosby saying he can't find the horse, and Mosby is like, oh, obviously I know who this is.
All right, don't panic. Tippy can't have gotten far.
He knows how to operate the service elevator.
Okay. Panic!
He catches them immediately. But the horse isn't there. Apparently, Zack and Cody lost the horse too. Oh no. Tippy goes to the kitchen, and the music's kind of funny here. He shows up, and Mr. Mosby and Miss D are there too, and they keep referring to Zack and Cody as orphans to try to get away with this.
I'm sorry. We were hungry. After all, we're street kids. Street kids who never learned how to use forks and knives.
And he keeps getting away. Meanwhile, Carrie gives London advice about why she should actually put in an effort to find Maddie's grandmother's brooch again. She decides to go to the dumpster to find it, which is something she would never do. London finds Arwen and a homeless person in the trash.
It's very valuable.
I lost a brooch in here too.
You wear a brooch?
When I go out.
And they essentially race to find the brooch. Tippy ends up hiding in Zack and Cody's room.
No, Tippy, we're not playing horse again.
No. Tim always obeys me.
He's a rock.
And they finally get away with it until the horse wakes up Carrie. When London admits to Maddie that she couldn't find the brooch, Maddie appreciates the effort and the moment kind of is solved. London finds out about the Tippy situation, and the Miss Delacour lady actually ends up telling Mr. Tipton to not retire Tippy. So she saves the day, essentially. And this episode ends on the funniest joke, with the orphan recurring joke coming back one last time, and it's actually a really good ending.
The orphans were right.
Are you talking about my sons?
Mom? At long last, we found you.
The next episode is called Forever Plaid, which is kind of interesting because it's more about London and Maddie in this episode. Especially since Zack and Cody's plotline is kind of shorter.
I thought it was a long weekend.
It's Wednesday.
Oh, so it's almost the weekend again. Well, no point in going now.
So London must attend public school because apparently she's been completely missing her own school. She gets enrolled in Maddie's school, this Catholic school with a bunch of nuns, and you can already tell this is going to be interesting. Zack and Cody hang out in this abandoned room 413 and play football and kind of cause ruckus until Mosby interrupts and actually catches them. Apparently they left a little hole in the wall. Oh my god, Zack and Cody, you guys are gonna get fined. Mosby shows Carrie and she assigns him to work with Arwen and fix the hole.
Oh, don't you look adorable?
Thank you.
Meanwhile, London goes to Maddie's school and is offended at everything. I guess she just doesn't really know what this is. And asks a nun for a table, which is actually super funny.
Table for two. Something with a view, please.
Certainly. Why don't you sit at table 1? It has a lovely view of table 2.
Vanessa Hudgens is in this, and the other girls from High School Musical. I don't understand why this is happening. London says she's happy because she refers to it as prison, and now she's making friends in prison. Can you imagine London being the main character of Orange is the New Black? That would be awesome. Arwen says to make the hole bigger to fix it, but it ends up causing Zack to make it worse.
Not that big. We're gonna need more plaster. Luckily, Mother got me some for Christmas.
How did you not see that coming? The boys argue and realize they can actually see into the next room to hear girls talking. Oh no. So it's a Peeping Tom episode. Only Zack and Cody can really take these complex themes. So they start to actually eavesdrop constantly, and even start introducing their friends to it, like Bob, who actually pays, which is crazy.
We are unraveling the mystery that is woman.
So you're peeping.
For science. I love science. It's my favorite subject.
Meanwhile, London and Maddie are in detention, and the nun actually keeps referencing God, which is so funny, how they keep hiding it.
I'll be back in an hour. No one moves.
Sis, what if I have to go to the bathroom?
Hold it. And remember, he is watching.
And every time Maddie tries to help London fit in, she, gets the rough end of the stick and punished for everything, essentially. As they try to sneak out, the nun catches him, but they lie and get into nun outfits. So they think that Maddie is foreign and London has to translate for her. Oh my god, this is, ridiculous.
Casablancan, Super Megan, Duke Siegelhooper.
She says hi.
Meanwhile, Zack and Cody's friends all pay them to let more people in on the secret people. And this one is just, oh my gosh. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, London and Maddie have to keep up their charade, even answering questions for the entire school.
Ubin Snake Barblungi.
Boston. Oh. Ishanaisa'in.
Yumi Yumi. Lots of cute boys.
Vanessa Hudgens actually kind of gets into it. Finally, the real nun comes in, and they're in trouble, with London throwing Maddie under the bus. Perfect ending.
You know what really makes me melt?
A good poke in the eye.
Not my good eye!
That'll teach you.
Later, Arwen catches the kids using the hole as a peephole. And Mosby and Carrie come in because they've gotten complaints that they've been looking through it too.
I wasn't peeping. No peeping here.
The pish posh, you people were peeping!
This was a really simple episode with Zack and Cody's side. In the end, London comes clean and takes responsibility for Maddie, but it just makes her look better and...
Don't blame her. Blame me.
Madeline? You could learn something from London.
Huh?
Maddie is completely rejected in this school. The end. The end. So Season 2, Episode 7 is Election. And this is one of the more fun episodes of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's funny that this is coming up because I just recently watched the election episode of Jimmy Neutron. And the trope of all the main characters kind of running for school president, trying to make changes, having their whole campaign is always a really funny premise. And Sweet Life of Zack and Cody did it even better than that.
This will soon be the presidential suite.
Is Mosby kicking us out?
No, I'm going to run for school president.
That's wonderful news.
Meh.
So it starts out at the school. Zack, Cody, and their friends are eating lunch. And finally, Allison Stoner's back. She was in a couple episodes in the first season, and then just randomly in episode 7. So the elections are in 3 weeks, and Cody is like, I'm definitely going for president, and nobody else really wants to. Zack kind of entertains the idea, like, what if I ran for president? And it becomes kind of like a challenging situation where the brothers are about to take a fight into the political system of their school.
Can't be the president of the school. You don't even know where it is. Do so. It's the last stop on the bus.
Cody is like, there's no way it's gonna work. You can't run against me, and that's the beginning of it all. Next thing we know, Maddie and London are getting involved when Zack and Cody tell them, with London defending Zack for his outlandish requests, and Maddie is helping Cody because he's trying to be responsible and she respects that.
She thinks debate is what you use to catch the fish.
So this is when it gets really cool. Basically, they team up to help Zack and Cody run against each other. One by one, Zack and Cody are trying to swing votes, and Allison Stoner is voting for Zack because apparently he's going to promote her if he wins, which is exactly the political system. Somehow Zack gets signs up in the school, and it's like, how do you do that? Meanwhile, Arwen is inventing luggage carts that can drive themselves, but it goes haywire pretty quickly and even injures Mr. Mosby. So it's not just the kids who bother him, it's all the staff too. So Zack and Cody get into an argument at home about school.
You no good cheater, loser, wimp, crybaby, doof.
And I thought this election would come between you.
London and Zack kind of have a game plan.
Are you sure we're not going too far?
No. Too far would be dumping Cody on a cargo ship to South America, where he'll spend the rest of his miserable life working in the copper mines.
You've done this before?
When it's time for speeches, London and Maddie are still arguing at this middle school. I don't know why they came all the way from their high school. It's time for like the first debate. Bob is also running, which is kind of random, and he has a sister, which is super funny. Zack's whole plan is to use an embarrassing picture of Cody, which goes pretty far with the kids. Arwen comes, which is super funny, and helps Cody with an invention, a jetpack that would surely win over the kids. And it does. Everybody's super excited until Cody goes haywire. Oh wait, and that still doesn't ruin the chances. It's when he suggests that the school is going to have more academics that people are like, oh no, I am not voting for him. Zack sees the whole school laugh at his brother and he feels bad, gets up on the mic and yells at them. He's like, Cody's got some good ideas.
Cody actually has some great ideas. I got nothing.
What about ice cream and skate parks?
Yeah! Like that'll happen. What, do you still believe in the tooth fairy?
And it's really sweet to see Zack stand up for his brother like this, because Cody does deserve it. And this is just a really sweet episode.
Voting for Cody!
You don't go to school here.
Oh, well, if I went to school here, I'd vote for Cody.
Next, we have Season 2, Episode 8, Mosby's Big Brother. So Zack and Cody really want a new bike, but they cannot afford one. And their mom will not pay for one.
Of course you do. I just bought you new ones.
8 years ago.
What? Yeah, it's not possible.
In the end, they team up to get a single bike.
You can if we can find our money. Let's go buy a bike.
Meanwhile, Mosby is super on edge because apparently his brother is coming to visit and he's a lot more successful and everything, and yeah, this has been done before.
Oh, he casts a giant shadow.
Hey, little bro.
I can't wait to see a shadow.
We meet him and everybody loves him immediately. And he's an older brother, but he's short, and that's the joke, which is haha, funny, funny. Meanwhile, Cody tries to come up with a system for him and Zack to share the bike, but Zack does not abide by any of the rules.
But there's this emergency at the park. What? I met this girl, Selena.
Not coming home on time, and Cody doesn't even get a chance with the bike. Meanwhile, London is really into horoscopes.
Stay away from family and fried cheese.
Horoscopes are stupid.
Although that fried cheese thing makes sense.
Maddie and Esteban make fun of her for this, and Maddie goes so far as to actually rig her horoscopes and rewrite them so that way she does stuff that benefits them.
Guess what London's horoscope told her what to wear today?
Can I still guess even though I'm looking at her?
Like at first, she's gonna go to a concert, but Maddie has her say it's a bad day to go out in a concert. Zack comes back with the bike fully broken, and Cody is angry. He gives Zack the silent treatment, and it's like really clearly not working.
Hey, we did a good job.
Then Mosby actually hires his brother to work at the Tipton because apparently he's going through a rough time. So even though Mosby doesn't want to help, he does it anyway.
What? 1 minute.
Excuse me, Spencer, but these people need your attention.
Now, Marion, I'm on a business call.
Running the concierge desk is your business.
Cody tries to get advice from Carrie at the same time Mosby's trying to get advice from Carrie, all about their older brothers.
Doesn't
He
listen.
has no consideration for me.
And he stinks, personality-wise and frankly, his body odor. Oh,
Let
come
me
on,
tell
you
you,
know how Zach...
And Carrie's just essentially like, you have to care for them, you're going to set the example.
Spencer may be short, but he pounces like a cat. Plus, he bites.
Mosby confronts his brother and finally has a moment where they say they love each other, and it's very sweet until the brother actually gets all of his millions back and doesn't have to work there anymore.
Don't go there. Oh, yeah. Don't go there.
Because you were lactose intolerant.
Ooh, you went there.
Leading to them back to a fight and square one. Cody realizes he doesn't want to end up like Mosby and his brother, so he decides to confront him about his resentment. And it's really a cool commentary of like, if you don't talk about your feelings, you're going to end up not liking somebody else. And the fact that Cody doesn't him and Zack to end up that way is really sweet.
It's been 13 years in the making, and I don't want us to end up like Mr. Mosby and his brother.
But Zack is really hard to pin down on this. He's just such a jerk and does not see where Cody's coming from, pushing him to fight even more. When Zack sees how much Mosby and his brother are fighting, which is so funny in the background,
And then wind up hating you. You'd hate me? Eventually.
he realizes that Cody might end up not liking him because of him, and it's not worth losing his brother. Meanwhile, London finally gets revenge on Maddie and Esteban for the horoscope thing by dressing up as a firefighter and spraying foam on them. What the heck? How is this a solution?
How did you catch on?
Oh, it was easy. I used logic, cunning, and I overheard you and Esteban laughing about it.
This episode is just really good. It's like focusing on the sibling dynamics, which is exactly what the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody should be doing. You know, like, it's named after the brothers. Like, of course this is going to be the plot. It's not super involved in the Tipton unless it's Mosby. And I kind of wish it was focused more on the bikes. But I don't know, Mosby is just such a funny character. I could see him do it all day. In the next episode we have 9 books and birdhouses. So Cody is told to take a class that actually would challenge him, something that he's not already good at.
What makes you think woodshop is easy? Hello? You're taking it.
He's a little offended at this and is like, why would I do anything that's not gonna get me into Harvard? Like woodshop, which is what Zack's doing. He kind of trashes it, which is, come on Cody, don't be pretentious. Meanwhile, London doesn't do her homework, and Maddie kind of gives her an idea for what she could do, making a short story about Ivana being at the Tipton.
I am a dog who lives in a hotel.
Yes. That's it. That's all you wrote?
Hello? Short story?
It could make a great children's story. My name is Ivana. I live at the Tipton. It's a very special hotel.
London actually writes down everything she says, and Maddie is excited that somebody likes her idea. She essentially writes the whole thing for her. Meanwhile, Cody's in woodshop, and he does not fit in at all. He butts heads with the teacher, and Zack even looks like a better student than him, which is nuts.
All right, people. Back to your projects, and remember, Never chisel toward yourself.
And I like seeing Zack have a hobby. It's kind of like Cody and cooking. Like, why did the Sweet Life on Deck never tap into these passions of theirs? Like, it's almost like they regressed over time. Like, I want to see them do things that they're really good at. Like, seeing Zack good at this is really refreshing.
You think wood grows on trees?
Zack even gives Cody a demerit. Oh my god, this is gonna fuel a fire. In the meantime, Maddie actually does a really bad job on her report, as opposed to London, who gets her first A.
I got an A! Give me an A! What does that spell? It spells A! Hey, hey, hey!
Maddie gets really annoyed when she finds out it's because London just copied down exactly what she said. Since London has barely worked hard, Maddie is super triggered when Mosby tells her that her dad is so proud that they're going to have a book made off her short story.
My sister is in desktop publishing. She absolutely adores your little dog story. She wants to publish it as a children's book. What?
Oh my gosh. Maddie is so annoyed at this point. Meanwhile, Cody has nightmares that failing woodshop is going to ruin his entire career, and that is kind of how college paints their admissions to be. Like, you really do have to be perfect, so I wouldn't blame Cody for this kind of pressure.
It says here you received a B in middle school woodshop.
I can't explain that.
Oh, did a meteorite hit your school?
Maddie's trying to call out London for her copying, but the nun does not believe her. She just thinks she's jealous. Oh, poor Maddie. London finally does a book signing for her book and tries to read it to kids, but Maddie goes all the way too far, exposing her in front of everyone for not writing the book.
Liar, liar, pants on fire!
Excuse me, I'm looking for the author of Ivana Lives in a Hotel.
That's me!
Turns out that Maddie actually recited another book, and this idea wasn't original, so therefore both of them were wrong. And London gets the bare brunt of it, which is like fair because she did take the idea, and that's kind of resolved.
I'm sorry, sister.
It's not entirely your fault, my dear. Madeline shouldn't have tempted you.
Zack is working on a super impressive clock, and Cody can barely make a birdhouse. Zack inevitably feels so bad that Cody is going to fail this and sees how important it is that he allows him to take credit for his project, which is kind of like the London and Maddie thing. I like that's parallel. Of course, Cody can't handle it, so he decides to come out with the truth.
I can't take this. Ugh, I didn't make this clock. Zack made it. And I made that.
And the brothers make up, and this is a really sweet episode, and it's so funny seeing London get all the credit for something Maddie did. Like, that's the perfect example of their relationship. And then, of course, with Zack taking the brunt for Cody, it's just nice to see Zack do something that's really mature. He's definitely doing a good job this season so far. Okay, so London and Maddie have their Sweet 16s near each other, like literally right next to each other.
I'll go to yours if you come to mine. Party! Party! Mine's next Saturday. When's yours? Next Saturday.
Zack wants to get Maddie the perfect gift, but Cody already did, because apparently she said directly what she wanted and Zack just didn't listen, which, come on, Zack, that's kind of your fault.
Well, how did you know she wanted all that? Because last week she said to us, for my birthday, I'd really like a china cup with my name painted on it, my favorite tea imported from India, and a box of cinnamon sticks. Well, what was I doing when she said that? Staring at her?
London pretty much goes extravagant for her birthday and gets an extremely expensive invitation card. Like, she's gonna have a Ferris wheel. It's like, Maddie's is like nothing compared to hers. Once they say the gift baskets will have flat screen TVs, which, oh my god, are you kidding me? Cody ends up going too, with everybody pretty much going to London's party instead of Maddie's birthday. It's kind of sad. Cody takes Zack to look at jewelry because he wants to get Maddie something really special, but it still doesn't match up with as special as Cody's gift.
Well, what's the cheapest thing here? Apparently, you.
Learned that Maddie has a brother. He's like a little twerp who runs around, he needs braces, and apparently her parents downgrade her party to some place called like the Goose Lodge, which makes it even worse.
Nice to meet you, Liam.
Yeah, whatever. Look, I got some bad news for you. I need braces.
Cody causes a scene and crashes into the mannequins, getting the boys kicked out of the jewelry store.
We just have to act like we know what we're doing, like mature adults. Suave, sophisticated. I'm not a naked lady!
Meanwhile, Maddie's school friends choose to go to London's over Maddie's, which is so not cool. Maddie, like, has to be like, we are not friends anymore. Next thing you know, Mr. Tipton shows up for the first time, and it's really funny because you can't see him. He's just completely covered by bodyguards.
Relax, Mosby. It's me.
Daddy!
And nobody shows up at Maddie's. We see her grandmother and her grandmother's friends, but it's essentially like an old folks retirement home. But Zack shows up, and that turns out to be like a really sweet thing.
Who died?
Meanwhile, London is actually having trouble appeasing her mom and dad at her own birthday party. Like, she can't get them to see each other, and Mr. Mosby and Carrie can't really help much, letting her realize that maybe she made a mistake, and Maddie's party is probably so much better.
Bet she expected her best friends to be there.
She ends up getting kicked out of her own party and not able to get back in, which I wish she chose to go to Maddie's party because this is kind of, like, not a choice.
In that case, why don't you go away with all the other London Tiptons trying to sneak in?
Yay!
But she shows up to Maddie's party, and then it means a lot to her, and they finally can make up, which is good, because I don't like them fighting like this. Next thing you know, Zack admits that he didn't actually get a present, but Maddie says it's okay and the gift was just showing up in general. Aww. So this episode was really fun. Like, I love the hijinks going on between Maddie and London, and how London uses money to get so much more, and Maddie loses money and gets so much less. But at least in this moment, Maddie comes out on top, having the better birthday party, having something more genuine, and London just realizes that she's not getting the affection and care she needs, which is honestly pretty sad. Overall, really good episode.
The Tipton welcomes twins? Well. Nice to see we're finally being appreciated around here.
Okay, now we got twins at the Tipton. There's a twin convention, and Zack and Cody thinks it's for them at first, which is accurate. Like, why wouldn't it be? Mr. Mosby tells them to be scarce because he doesn't want to scare them away. The twins in the hotel are super funny, and I wish this concept happened in Sweet Life on Deck because this is really clever, especially for a show that circles around twins anyway.
I landed on my A.
Zack and Cody actually develop a crush on these two twins. I always wondered if that was like a thing that happened in real life. Like, what are the odds that you and your brother would fall in love with two of the exact same person? I don't know. I just always thought that was interesting. Zack finds out from Bob that Irma ditches the date, so he delivers the news.
Welcome to the club. What club? The guys who aren't dating Irma club.
That's your idea of gentle?
Bob uses the actors' names, which is so funny.
Irma told Kim, who told Phil, who told Ashley, who told Brenda, who told Dylan, who told Cole, who told me. It's over.
But why?
It turns out that she's back with her ex. Aww. Meanwhile, London has a crush on one of the twins, and I like how the B-plot also has to do with twins, like Maddie and London. London didn't know Zack and Cody were twins, which is astonishing to me. I can't believe they made her that dumb. They all act like Zack and Cody. Like, there's one that's really smart and one that's really dumb. Maddie ends up agreeing to go on a date with the other one, thinking that they're both handsome.
But if you two want to go out, I could ask my twin brother.
That could work.
Oh, you guys will love Dirk. He's smart.
Oh, I'll take him.
I'll get him.
Turns out they're twins that don't look alike. Meanwhile, Zack runs into one of the pretty twins and asks her on a date. She wants to go out with him, but only if he has a date for her too. So Zack needs to get Cody to go on the date in order to have it happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's a party animal. Non-stop fun.
But Cody is way too depressed over Irma. I don't remember a lot about Irma. She definitely wasn't mentioned thus far, so this is kind of crazy to me. He basically is like, I'm not gonna start dating again. Then London and Maddie are fighting over the guy because the other twin is apparently really nerdy and annoying. Of course, Maddie gets a less attractive one, and it's Eric from Drake and Josh. What the heck?
He's not that bad.
His shirt was sticking out of his fly.
Maybe that's the style now. Yeah. And Goofusville.
And this one is really annoying, saying, "Did you know?" to everything. Which is a really good concept. This guy is such a good actor. He is top talent.
Did you know that it takes 3 hours for meat to move through your intestines so the bile can churn up the gastric acid?
Meanwhile, Zack keeps trying to convince Cody to go with him on the date. He eventually agrees, but is still breaking down emotionally. Cody tries to act normal, but he cannot stop crying about the breakup while he's on the date with the girls. Zack keeps trying to turn it around, but to no avail.
I'm fine. Never been better.
Cheese stick.
You know, Cody, it's not good to keep things bottled up. Not good at all. Bad, really. Really bad. Oh, not really.
And this would be me on a date. I definitely feel that. But, you know, Zack and Cody are Leos and I'm a Leo, so I guess that would make sense. It makes the girls actually like him more, which is not surprising. Like, you like a sensitive guy. So Maddie and London are on a date, and Maddie keeps coming across as the shallow one, which makes her really self-conscious, so she tries so hard to give him a chance. Dirk tries to apologize to Maddie, and she actually gives him a chance, but it turns out he is a genuine jerk.
There's this girl I met tonight that I'd really like a second chance with. Think she might be interested?
She might be.
Great, because I'm nuts about London. Can you distract Kirk so I can ask her out?
Like, he's not just a nerd, he is a bad person. The moral, just because you're smart doesn't mean you're nice, which is a funny lesson to teach here. Zack actually tries to compete with Cody during the date, which is so funny because he's not actually that sensitive.
I cry at puppies and rainbows. Oh, and I watch the women's channel all the time. When Rachel broke up with Guillermo for the one-legged tennis player, I blubbered like a baby.
And they all end up leaving with Cody, so Cody ends up winning this one. Carrie tells Zack it's his fault for pushing Cody to go, and this is his karma.
Ow, 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 no, soda!
Overall, really fun episode, and the inclusion of twins being such a central part of it is even better. So this next episode is called Neither a Borrower Nor a Speller Bee, and we'll get into the meaning of that in a second. Cody's getting ready for the spelling bee, and Carrie thinks that he's definitely going to win it. Apparently, she failed when she was younger, which means she has more stakes in this.
Would have won that thing, too, if it hadn't been for politics.
There's always politics in kids' competition.
No, it was the word politics. I spelled it P-O-L-I-T-I-C-K-S.
Meanwhile, Zack needs money for the game room. Carrie tells him either borrower or lender B, which is the name based in Shakespeare.
Neither a borrower nor a lender be. William Shakespeare.
I just need a couple of bucks. Zach Martin.
Meanwhile, London and Maddie are volunteering to fix apartments for school.
A bus? Like, public people use?
London already thinks she's too good for it by the time they enter. And the High School Musical girls are back again. They're really consistent in this.
She's working.
I know! We can't believe it either!
Maddie, gabbing on your phone while everyone else is working. You should be working as hard as London.
I love that the nuns just keep on hating on Maddie. Like, they are so unapologetic about it. At the game room, Zack actually tries to ask kids for money, which is nuts. I can't believe he would just go around and do this. Then he meets this guy that's like, I'll exchange it for 20% interest, which is kind of genius. This guy must be a business guy. He ends up owing him 20 bucks. I like how it appears like Zack has a gambling addiction.
Only 30 bucks.
How'd that happen?
You stink at this game. I expect my money by this afternoon.
London's upset that she's not in the paper like another rich person who is also doing charity. She's like, I'm doing charity, which is ridiculous because she's not. And she ends up knocking over the paint. And Maddie gets in trouble for it. Oh my god, this keeps happening.
Madeline, this is not playtime. Get down immediately.
And then conveniently, the spelling bee is at the Tipton. Sometimes Mosby hates the kids, sometimes he doesn't, I guess, because he's super excited for Cody.
I'm not supposed to show favoritism, but you demand, Cody.
Zack tries to hide at the spelling bee, and the bully ends up showing up there and demanding the money. So Zack tries to stall. Cody ends up winning one of the last competitions and is on to the final round against Zack's bully. He tells Zack that if Cody loses on purpose, they'll be even for the bet. All to win 20 bucks? Oh my god, Zack, please.
Convince your brother to lose to me on purpose, and we're even.
And if I don't? I know. Or else.
Right.
London has the paparazzi show up to where they're volunteering and make it look like she's working, which is so shallow. Zack tries to convince Cody to lose on purpose, but obviously he's not going to do that. So Zack tells him the truth, and it seems like he still wouldn't budge. Eventually, he finally gets him to agree.
Leave all my unopened textbooks to my dear, beloved, wonderful brother, Cody. Sad, isn't it? Sure is. You spelled textbooks wrong.
Zack ends up going to other people for the money, and once London actually finally agrees, apparently everybody at the hotel has borrowed money from Zack, lent Zack money at some point, and they all take it back, which I would feel better about. You're out of debt, Zack.
You left me with a buck!
The buck you owe me.
See, this is kind of how Disney and Nickelodeon differ. Zack makes bad choices, and then bad things happen to him, like owing this guy money. Meanwhile, on a Nickelodeon show, the characters would probably do something rude or offensive to get the money and not actually get consequences for it. Props to Disney for making this a lot more realistic.
You can do it, Maynard! Just trying to be a good sport?
So Zack's cheering for Maynard in the spelling bee, which is so funny because it's like clearly your twin brother is up there. He ends up getting it wrong, and Cody starts to stumble too. Zack ends up standing up and telling him to make sure not to lose on purpose just for him, which is really sweet, and Cody ends up winning! Yay! Meanwhile, the needy don't thank London with a cake like they do for everybody else.
Why didn't they bake me a cake?
Because you really didn't give them anything.
I gave them publicity.
Maddie explains it's because she didn't actually care about helping, and London is, like, guilty because it's true. So Zack begs not to be beaten up, but it turns out he wasn't even going to beat him up, he just is going to tell Zack's mother. And he does not get worried about it until Carrie actually hears it, and he gets in trouble. And Maynard gets in trouble too, because his dad hears he tried to cheat in the competition. In the end, London tries to give a cake to the needy, dressed as a robber so she doesn't get caught. And this is a really sweet way to solve her problem. Overall, really fun episode.
There's no pressure, Arwen. Just the fact that you bowled makes you a winner. But if you miss this, roll big fat losers.
You, young lady, go stand back.
The next episode we have is Season 2, Episode 13, Bowling. And I remember this as one of the most famous episodes, because not only was it the peak season of Sweet Life, but this had, like, the funniest character moments, and probably reran more than the other episodes. So the episode opens with Cody walking out of the shower, proudly using the word ergo, and Zack kind of mocks him, knocking him into the hallway, like, fully naked.
Ergo, pathetic.
Meanwhile, in the lobby, Mosby and the Tipton staff complain about losing a flag football game to Ilsa, who is the manager at the St. Mark's Hotel. I don't know if you remember her from earlier in the season, but she's the competitor.
Well, just because you beat us at flag football does not make you the better hotel.
Oh, face it, we could whip your flegels at any sport.
How about bowling?
Zack suggests that they do a bowling match, which causes Arwen to run out of the room, which is so random. At practice, Mosby names Carrie the team captain and benches London for being terrible.
This is a team secret. You get to be our alternate. Is that good? Good. It's great.
Though Carrie tries to keep her as an alternative. Meanwhile, Ilsa returns with a star player, Gretel, who...
Fibble now? Not yet, my pet.
In my country, we have volcanoes smaller than her. Fine.
And this actress plays Beast in Glee, if you've ever seen that show, which is so funny that she's getting a return in this series. This episode always kind of reminded me of the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends episode, where Madame Foster goes against her old lady friends, and the main cast forms a team. I know it's, like, very different and unique, but it's still funny to point out.
Well, who stinks now?
Oh, who cares? We crush you anyway.
Gretel, who flirts with Esteban, which is so funny. Zack impresses with a strike on his first try. Well, back at the suite, Zack pranks Cody again, literally in the same exact way they did in the opening. Like, I don't know if Cody's at fault for falling for it again, or Zack is just unoriginal for doing it again, prompting Carrie to extend his punishment. He gets no allowance, grounded, and he's benched from the game.
How can you fire your star player?
Because I'm your mom first. You're off the team, that's final.
Carrie gets mom points here because she made a hard decision and stuck with it, which I really appreciate. Good job, Kim Rhodes.
The Zackinator!
Zackmeister!
Zack-attack!
Zacka! Person is real good!
London is added to the team, which means they're done for. Meanwhile, Arwen babysits Zack. In his office, Zack finds Arwen's old bowling trophy, and we learn that he has a backstory of being a pro bowler.
First place, Arwen Hawkhauser.
That's my sister. It's her trophy. She won it.
She has the same first name as you.
We were a poor family. We could only afford one name.
Zack begs Arwen to bowl in his place to avoid the blame if the Tipton loses, but Arwen is like, no, I can't go back, which is so funny. It's like a dark, dramatic backstory.
You bowl?
Yeah. And then Zack promises him a kiss from Carrie if they win, which you can't do that, Zack. Meanwhile, at the match, St. Mark dominates with Gretel. Esteban tries to flirt with her to break her focus.
Hola, muchacha.
Just so funny, and it does not work. She ends up dragging him away, and he panics. Mosby prepares to forfeit when Zack and Arwen arrive. Ilsa reminds them that substitutes are not allowed, but then London drops a ball on her foot, taking the place of a substitute. Arwen comes in, and the funniest joke is this slow-mo joke.
What are you doing?
It's just for dramatic effect. If you go slower, the tension builds, and I'm gonna go again.
And then on the final turn, he nails a 7-10 split, winning the game and fixing his own karma and relationship to bowling. Carrie ends up kissing him, and he faints. As the team celebrates, Carrie notices Zack isn't smiling. He admits he's happy, but wishes it had been him. But Carrie tells him to remember not to be mean to Cody, and this ends up being a lesson for him, which is kind of funny. So the twins have just returned from their basketball game, complaining about how cheap their basketball is. Because it doesn't even bounce. It's like so ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't complain. We wouldn't have skateboards if it weren't for that sale on mayonnaise. Mosby!
Meanwhile, Theo Cavanaugh, the rich kid who's staying for a while, comes into the lobby to talk to Mr. Mosby. Meanwhile, the twins ask for ice cream, and Mr. Mosby immediately tells them no until Theo asks for ice cream, and then he says, consider it open. And it's so funny, like, he really hates the boys.
Need anything else? Yeah, a basketball that comes back up after it hits the ground. Well, why don't you come back to my place?
After that, Zack thanks Theo for getting Mosby to do what he wanted, and then Theo invites the twins to his mansion. Woo! So Zack and Cody seem amazed at just how rich this guy is. He has a basketball court inside his house, and soon enough, they're all friends. In the side plot, we go to London and Maddie in Catholic school. So today they're doing the Parenthood episode, where they have two characters take care of a baby. And guess who the two characters are in this scenario? Yeah, London and Maddie.
And if you don't, it will cry, and I will know.
You mean...
No, dear. There's a recorder inside.
After playing basketball on Theo's court, he and the twins go to a game room, and Zack happens to notice a board with slot cars. All three of them start to play with them, and as Theo starts teasing Cody for his nerdy personality...
So you two go get your exercise. I'll be flexing the old coconut.
Meanwhile, Zack starts to ditch Cody more often in favor of this new material friend, and it starts to hurt Cody.
Who's up all night taking care of the baby?
I didn't even know you got married.
Please, Cody. I'm only 16. And I've never even kissed a boy.
Oh, please, save it for the nuns.
Cody and Maddie have never had this open of a conversation before. You know, like, Cody's always been so much younger than her, but to hear them actually talking about real things is really eye-opening. While London and Maddie are arguing about the baby, they give it to Mr. Mosby for a second, and this is exactly how I would picture Mr. Mosby take care of his kid.
Just give me that. How do you turn the thing off? Oh, no. He's not real, man. No, trust me. I love children.
Later, we actually start to see Theo's true colors.
Want my defense sign? That's okay. I've already got my I'm a Dork t-shirt in the car.
But decides not to say anything because of all the benefits they've been getting. Cody realizes that Theo doesn't actually like him, and Zack has to basically break up with him too, and learn that they can't just be friends with somebody for their items, which is a really good lesson.
My brother may be lame, and a geek, and a weenie, and he flosses between every bite, and... What are we talking about again?
Later, when London and Maddie are taking care of the baby, Mr. Mosby has to interfere again. But they basically break the baby.
Well, I buy nicer things. He likes me more. Well, she likes me more. I actually take care of him. Oh, you're hurting him! You're hurting him!
Just let go!
Later, they have to show the nun how deformed this child is, and they feel so bad, and apparently that's enough to get them an A, which doesn't make sense to me. They completely failed this project. I feel like this episode really did the show well, like seeing Zack have some character growth after so many immature decisions is just really good to watch.
Okay.
I'm going.
Then go.
All right.
But while you're going, you think about you're disappointing your I have got to get better at this guilt thing.
Seeing how Theo treats Cody probably taught him a lot about how he treats him as well, in addition to the material things plotline.
Well, who's going to take care of us?
Well, you'll take care of him, he'll take care of you. That's why I had twins.
Then we have The Sweet Smell of Excess, which is a funny title, because instead of success, it's excess. Funny. So Zack and Cody try to sneak out of their room to play hockey until Carrie stops them. She needs them to put on their helmets and pads.
And if Bob's parents let him jump off a bridge, would you want to do that too?
If we were attached to a bungee cord.
Not even if you were still attached to my umbilical cord.
So Zack and Cody are rollerblading in the lobby, and they stop by Maddie. Turns out that London is paying her $100 to break in her heels. Oh my god, why is Maddie so easily manipulated?
You always said you wished you could walk in London shoes.
Yeah, that's before I knew how small London's feet were.
Zack and Cody skate around some more, but Mr. Mosby chases them down. They accidentally hit the hockey puck into Mosby's mouth, which is a really memorable moment.
Nice save, Mr. Mosby.
Then in Arwen's office, Zack and Cody come in to find he's talking to the cutout of Carrie, which is really disturbing. Turns out he's working on a special invention called the Parallel Universalizer or something, nicknamed the PU, which is kind of funny.
So secret, in fact, that no power on earth could make me tell you what it is.
Then we won't ask.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
It looks like a payphone, and it's really cool. You know, this is kind of inspiring me to think that Arwen would be a great actor to play Mr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Like, just this invention thing, the innator stuff, I don't know. After he goes to the bathroom, Zack and Cody actually go in, and lightning strikes the machine, ending them up in a parallel universe.
Banged my head on something hard. Yeah, my head.
Suddenly, everything is slightly off. They see Mr. Mosby wearing a yellow hat and shades, and he's completely hip this time.
Hey, what do you think of my new lid?
Tight.
Actually, it fits perfectly.
They don't believe what's going on, and even see Maddie acting like London.
It's little me, back from Paris.
And then London acting like Maddie, and everything just feels so wacky.
Are the shoes you've been breaking in for me comfortable yet?
They feel terrific. And I'm sure the bloodstains will come out.
Maddie kind of reminds me of Sharpay from High School Musical, so it's not that confusing. And their mom is a lot more lenient with everything they do, which is exactly what they wanted. And I guess eyeliner is what the writers would consider to be a neglectful mother look? I don't know about this fashion choice.
Now, who said you can't go bungee jumping? It's quicker than the elevator, I can tell you that.
Esteban comes in dressed as a maid, and I don't know why that's his parallel universe. I feel like this is one of the grass is always greener tropes, where they put the main character in the opposite scenario to get them to learn a lesson. They did this with SpongeBob. Remember when Plankton dressed as Mr. Krabs and everything else was backwards? I love this trope. It kind of reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life, but if everything were more ridiculous.
Flying nuggies! I'm in reverse.
After they realize that Carrie is, like, pretty neglectful now as another parent.
Hi, A. Diddy.
Whoa. Don't wrinkle the leather, okay, babe?
Okay. Okay.
Arwen acts like such a jerk in this. Like, this actor is so good at playing, like, kooky and then also, like, dreamboat. It's so funny how it worked. Fun fact on why I'm a little biased. This actor, Brian Stepanek, actually came into my class in college, and I got to meet him. He's a really nice guy. And talked about this show a lot, which was such a cool experience. They decide to go back to Arwen's office and get back to their normal world. They finally get back, and they tell about how Carrie had a crush on him.
You wore leather, you had hair, and Mom had a huge crush on you.
She did. P.U., here I come.
And he, like, desperately tries to get in. It's so funny.
I'm shorter here.
Oh.
Cody and Zack run around the hotel, grateful for their lives and hugging everybody as if it's the morning after Christmas.
You're so wonderfully strict.
Yes, I am. Now let go.
In the end, Carrie asks them what they want for dessert, and Zack and Cody suggest having vegetables. And they kind of tell her how much they appreciate her. And it's a really good episode. It digs into, like, everything being opposite, which is always what people imagine, but I don't know, it's kind of weird that it takes a supernatural turn because this is not a realistic experience. I'd like to think that the lightning struck them and this was all like an imaginative adventure, but who knows what it could have been. And that's the end of the episode. If you want to see more teen shows with deep topics like love and heartbreak, you should definitely check out my musical, Heartbreak Hospital. Oh my god, I'm not wearing the shirt. Oh my god, I'm promoting Snowman Pilots. Watch Heartbreak Hospital, though, because that's the one I'm talking about.
Now I sing to stop the illusion from in my mind. I cannot get in or out of this whisper and meaning of love.
So yeah, at the end of the day, The Suite Life Season 2 is off to a really awesome start. This is the most memorable season in all of the series, making us feel like this show has gone on for multiple years. Given there's 39 episodes total, I mean, I felt like I was going through years just watching the first 15 episodes. You could tell Disney Channel had a lot invested in the Sprouse twins because they are at the forefront of all of this stuff. They're talented, hilarious, with great comedic timing. And getting to know the different aspects of the hotel along with the different people that are found in each of the rooms makes for a great half workplace comedy, half family sitcom. I was surprised with how often London and Maddie are thrown into this. I feel like looking back, I forgot that they were such a vital part. I mean, I knew they were main characters, but I didn't realize every episode has like a different situation with them too. Like, it's not just Mosby and Carrie, or like, they're completely the B-plot. But the way Zack and Cody treat each other, the lessons they try to address in this season are far from ordinary. This idealistic world where you're living in a hotel through the eyes of Zack and Cody has taken its steps to the next level. Or, I guess, to the next floor of the hotel. I really want to know what your favorite episode of Suite Life of Zack and Cody is, so please comment below if you've watched this whole video. I'm about to out you guys. No, but seriously, the characters are next level in this one. I feel like the charm gets a little worn toward the end of Season 2 and early Season 3, so enjoy what we're going over while it's lasting. The really convenient thing about this show, probably for the producers and writers, is that it's 75% adults. Like, it's pretty rare that we see, like, Bob or Allison Stoner, or even guest stars, and they're always over the age of like 16 or 17. That's probably why their set didn't have a lot of negative experiences, because the youngest people were Zack and Cody, and they were surrounded by a lot of adults. But Arwen, Carrie, Mr. Mosby, it's beyond me how they captured kids' attention with mostly adult role models.
Don't push my boyfriend! Your boyfriend? Oh, somebody's getting banished now!
Suite Life of Zack and Cody. Okay, Season 2 was definitely off to a great start. If you saw my first retrospective, I covered the first 15 episodes, and it made a lot of changes since Season 1. Most notably, the best episode I feel like was the bowling one. The boys' hair got longer, Carrie's hair stayed blonde, and a lot of the episodes were about, like, the hotel hijinks as well as Maddie and London getting into it at their new school. But now we're taking on a little bit more, as Season 2 actually had 39 episodes. And I'm exhausted just saying that. I really feel like you definitely should stay in at least under 30, but I'm not going to judge them. I guess they just wanted to see how long they can go before the boys grew up. Or Ashley Tisdale had to leave the show. But we're still kind of in the golden era of Suite Life. And I know I said golden, but now when I saw this next set of 10 episodes in Season 2, I'm really debating it. I feel like these 10 episodes, the first 5 started going a little downhill, making everything they did in the first 15 start to get old. There's definitely some good moments and a lot of heart, but the episodes feel a little bit more bland, less personality driven, more like structured, and I don't really like that. I feel like a definitive marker for when things started to change were when Carrie Martin changed her hair. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but her hair changed between episodes, I think, 17, 18, and the show remarkably picked up. You can notice the boys' hair got a little bit longer. I'm not sure if there was like a break in between this, but it started getting a little bit more boring and then all the way back to super fun. So I'm going to cover the next 10 episodes with this little dip and then revival before we go to a third retrospective that'll have the last 13 episodes. So if you guys are buckled in, let's see what went on with The Sweet Life Season 2 in the middle. Around the time of making this video, I also learned a lot of secrets that came with the production codes and air dates these episodes. So stick around toward the end as we dive into more of the discrepancies that The Sweet Life took on. But without further ado, let's jump into The Sweet Life Season 2. So for Season 2, Episode 16, we have Going for the Gold. Cody's talking about his happy place, which is kind of like a meditation type technique. And they run into Arwen, who is working out all throughout the lobby. Can you imagine getting your entire workout done right in front of all these other people? Like, he clearly doesn't care. Oh my god, and his sleeves are even cut up. That's how you know he's committed to the process. He tells the boys that he's getting ready for the Hotel Engineers Olympics, which, as we all know, is in every hotel all the time, and it's a very popular thing in real world. No, I'm just kidding, guys. That was sarcasm. So he has this big enemy, Irv Wellington. I don't even know. So Arwen and Irv pretty much are against each other to win this Engineers Olympics. It's so funny because it's only a big deal to these two people. Everybody else barely even knows what they're talking about. But I'm a little surprised they even have a whole event for this. Like, it's hard because it's like not just them, it's clearly a hotel thing. In the B-plot, London is actually trying to open up her own small business. Like, she loves fashion, so she's like, okay, I'll open up a business about it. And Maddie is also asking for a raise, so basically both of the girls want something from Mr. Mosby. Turns out to work for both of them when she's like, okay, I'm just going to have to start my own small business with my own money. And it's so funny because apparently like just one of the rings or jewelry she has on her is enough to start an entire small business. London is truly in the 1%. She says she's gonna start it and that she would pay Maddie double what she's making now. So Maddie decides to jump ship and actually go to London's project, which is, where's the loyalty, Ashley Tisdale? Where is it? Poor Mr. Mosby is just gonna watch it as these girls fail. I mean, spoiler alert, but it's not gonna work out. The stakes are risen when Arwen tells the boys about the whole competition, and we learn a little bit more about what it entails. Apparently the winner gets a kiss from Carrie, the plunger girl, which I would hate to be named the plunger girl. Well, then again, I'm a boy, so that would make sense. London and Maddie officially open up their business, and it looks like it's like within the hotel. I kind of like that concept, but I feel like we don't talk about it, which is kind of weird. There is like an entire ritual. Like, this would have required a really in-depth rehearsal as everybody marches into the lobby with their respective hotel names. I like that it's hosted at the Tipton, although I feel like you could have done it somewhere else. Actually, anywhere else would have been fine. Irv is like so convinced he's gonna win constantly, and Carrie is the only one that's like, this is the stupidest thing ever, which kind of makes her look like a bad person. Like, clearly all these people care about this event, and she's just like, yeah, what's going on? So I'm not really surprised. Oh my gosh, her sash says sanitizer for your protection, which is so funny. Okay, I don't know how they come up with all these trials and tribulations for the engineers to go through, but the first one is like a race that Arwen wins pretty quickly. The second competition, they're trying to fix HVACs, and Arwen ends up doing it wrong, unlike Irv. He like is sworn he did it right, but it just doesn't seem to be working out. It's embarrassing. But Irv is just showing off. He's like ready to kiss Carrie. Sweet. Then Zack and Cody realize that he actually cheated. Irv put something in the air conditioner that sabotaged them. They end up trying to sabotage them back, or they try to confirm that he's cheating by going to the next competition, which is going to be in like a bathroom stall, and they find there's toilet paper with hidden instructions on it. So he is going to mess with the competition, and they found it. But when they tell everybody, they do not believe them, and the toilet paper just has nothing on it, which is real mature, guys. They're so embarrassed, and I would be too, but I don't know, Irv is acting so sus, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was his thing anyway. Maddie and London's shop goes exactly as they thought, really horribly, which I'm confused. Like, I would have loved to see if this worked out well for a second, and then it crashed. But the fact it's like bad off the bat is just, it's kind of anticlimactic. Turns out London spent all her money
at the store, and it's like nobody else is there. And she insults everybody that comes in, which is low-key kind of funny. But we should not be joking about people's sizes anymore. I feel like that's just long gone, like mentioning people's figures and stuff. Not for me. Mr. Mosby has a talk with her as like why she shouldn't give up, and like she's always stuck to fashion despite the fact she's quit everything else, which is really nice. Like, I feel like Mosby is a father figure to her, and like it's always been obvious, but this is the moment where I feel like it's confirmed that he actually really cares, and it comes from a really genuine place. So London actually decides to give it like one more shot, and even though it doesn't really work out for them in the long run, she's just happy she tried, and I guess I'm happy for her too. Zack and Cody end up trying to get karma with Irv by ruining the elevator so he would lose. He ends up winning anyway. He does this slide across the stairs that just ends up in him falling, which is so funny. And Arwen wins! The boys are able to prove that Irv was cheating the whole time. Arwen gets a kiss from Carrie and faints. And that's kind of how the episode ends. This one was really good because I feel like we see the characters like where they're going a lot easier, and there's a little bit of development. Unlike a Nickelodeon show, there's actually a moral to it, and they get consequences for helping Arwen cheat, and Irv gets consequences for cheating. Having an Arwen-centric episode is always so funny, and I'm so happy they did it again. So the next episode is Boston Tea Party, and obviously it has to be this because they live in Boston and we have to talk about historical events. The Sweet Life starts getting a lot more preachy, I would say, in the next couple episodes, but I don't mean that in like a bad way. I feel like they cover a lot of interesting topics, but like focus on the moral lesson a little bit more than usual and more than jokes, which would really separate it from Teen Nick. Like they're really trying to tell a specific story. In this one, it's kind of about the Boston Tea Party, obviously. They learn that their favorite park, Freedom Park, I guess the name is going to be shut down or torn down, whatever it is. And they both decide to go about it a certain way. Cody wants to write a letter to the mayor and actually try to protest this place getting shut down, and Zack is very anti doing anything about it. He's like, okay, it doesn't really matter. When they notice the photo in the lobby, they see an art piece about the Boston Tea Party. It's clear that the Tipton was a big part of it, so I guess they're trying to rewrite history. And this episode transitions to be about Zack's experience at first wanting to not have anything to do with the park being torn down to actually caring about what happens. And it all happens through a flashback or a flash forward. It's kind of a fantasy about what it would be like if all the characters lived in the era where the Boston Tea Party happened. And it feels kind of like a history lesson, with the character jokes being super funny, like Arwen trying to invent the vacuum, Mr. Mosby having this giant wig. They're able to make it really fun, although I feel like the information they're trying to set out is really boring, so it's like hard to disguise that. And Zack and Cody look like little orphan boys, I swear. They do not look like Carrie is their mother. They look like they are lone wolves. I noticed there's like not really a B plot in this because they wanted to focus solely on this fantasy of an episode, but Esteban takes the lead as they decide to protest the high prices, which I think we need today in this time. Like, I think we should do this now. There's a lot of really funny callbacks and like nods to realistic things that happen. Like Esteban saying like they need the right to vote because him and Arwen would be the only ones to do so, which is so funny because it's like they're the most incompetent ones. Not sure if that's like kind of like a slander at guys. I don't know. Zack still doesn't care in both realities until it actually affects him. He wants to get his favorite ice cream, but apparently it costs a lot more than before. So he actually makes a very quick character change. We cut to moments later when they actually win the revolution, when their protests actually work, and we don't really get to see the action, which it's kind of boring. They learned that everything came out well, and Zack realized that they can make a change just by doing a couple things. He wakes up from his fantasy to spill stuff on Cody's shirt and actually has a revelation about what they should do. Cody's still hyped on this letter he's trying to write to them, which is so funny, while Zack is convinced that they can tell the park that it's a historical landmark, so they decide to protest outside the park. The construction worker is really annoyed at this, and London uses the protest as kind of like a photo shoot. But it's cool that Zack is spearheading this little protest, especially since it's reflecting history. Mr. Mosby ends up coming through and saving the day when they have proof that this is an official landmark and therefore can't do the construction. The long-running joke about Esteban not being a citizen and getting his American visa is really interesting. Like, in this episode, he's just kind of a part of it, but they still kind of teeter on the fact that he is noble and actually cares about what goes on in this country, especially as somebody who isn't from here. He seems to have a really good understanding of what it's about, which is really sweet. Have a Nice Trip is an interesting episode of Sweet Life. It's pretty much about a con artist. It basically starts the episode with a man slipping in the lobby. Oh my god, Zack and Cody have done it now. They've got officially a lawsuit on their hands at the Tipton. I'm excited because that's a really fun plot. And I think it's early enough to be doing something like this. Mr. Mosby clearly knows who the perpetrators are, Zack and Cody, and he's trying to be super accommodating. Meanwhile, the boys are just hanging at the arcade, and they meet his daughter. She's basically acting like a fool. It reminds me of the Pool Shark episode of Drake and Josh when they were hustling people by saying they were bad at something, but then taking their money and winning. That's kind of what the girl does in this scene. It's funny because she's quiet and sweet, but then she keeps making bets with the boys that they cannot resist. They start getting suspicious of her, and she ends up doing the same thing to Maddie at the candy bar. She asks them to bet candy, and Maddie loses all the candy. I don't know how she has a right to bet all the candy counter's candy to this little girl, or even let her walk away with all of it. But this sus activity definitely leads to some issues. Zack and Cody start to notice that there's something going on with them. Maybe they're not responsible for this injury. They go through the vent system and find the man in the room, which is definitely an illegal invasion of privacy. He spies on his daughter. He learns that him and his daughter are both con artists and are basically playing everybody at the Tipton, which if I were Zack and Cody, I would clap. They kind of got away with it. In the B plot, it's literally just Carrie, Mosby, and Esteban sucking up to the injured man. Of course, they feel super guilty because they're quite aware of Zack and Cody's antics, which it's true. You're the adults, you should know how this works. Zack, Cody, and Maddie decide they're going to catch them in the act. They release a fly into their room, and it's so funny because it accidentally lands on their own faces. It's so gross to watch this. I hate bugs. And even though it kind of goes haywire, it works. Mosby catches him jumping up around despite his injury. Very sus. Of course, Mosby apologizes, and this is not the case. Cody keeps getting injured worse and worse the more he tries to prove it. And even the mom gets in on this. That's when they get Maddie to dress up like a really aggressive Russian massager to prove that the man and the little girl are lying. And honestly, it goes a little too far before they find out they're not. Like, Maddie flips him over, they take pictures of him, put hot stones on them. Meanwhile, Zack and Cody are trying to stall Mosby long enough to make sure they can check on this. The man sees his daughter in trouble, jumps up to save her, and everybody can see that he's not injured. If I were him, I would have ran at this point. This is like go into jail material. He ends up apologizing and leaving on some good terms, which I cannot believe. At least Mosby doesn't stand for it. He is kind of like, get out of here. This is fun because I like seeing Maddie, Zack, and Cody all working together. Like, they're a good team, the three of them. But watching the girl con all of them was priceless. Like, I could watch like con artist plots all day. It's a lot like the Drake and Josh one, but Sweet Life definitely takes their own spin on it, especially having it be about a hotel lawsuit. Like, that is something that has been overdue for quite some time with this series. I gotta admit, these batch of episodes are getting a little bit boring though. Aside from the fun one-off jokes popping off every now and then, the plots are very simple, and it's almost like the characters are just getting through dialogue through the episode. We're not having a lot of laughs. But things definitely get more interesting with episode 19. So the next episode, season 2, episode 19, is Ask Zack. This one was really fun, although it's definitely copying Drake and Josh. The whole premise is that Zack is that Ask Nancy type columnist in the school newspaper. But before we get to that, let's kind of break down the episode. So Zack learns he has to do an extracurricular activity. He inserts himself into the newspaper club, which we now are seeing Cody is a part of, and running. I don't know how you're running an entire newspaper at school and it's only coming up now. This definitely would have affected his time at the Tipton, and we saw none of that. In order to impress a girl, he realizes that joining the school newspaper will actually benefit him in this department. But Cody will not let him join. He's basically basically like, you are the worst incapable person of pulling something like this off. Bob's on sports, the blonde girls are back, which I'm surprised to see them again. Barbara's the editor, and this is the first time we get to see her. I don't know if you guys remember, but her and Cody do eventually date, because he dates all the nerds, I guess is his thing. In the B-plot, we have basically London can't sleep. I don't know how she ropes Maddie, Esteban, and Mr. Mosby into this, maybe because they all care about her, but she is so spoiled, she is just screaming because she can't deal with it. Zach does not know how to use the Ask Nancy column. I'm gonna keep calling it Ask Nancy, even though it's Ask something else, I don't care. And he uses this as a chance to get a date with the girl he liked earlier. Obviously, Cody has an issue with this, but it makes his column super popular. Next thing you know, everybody at school is using Zach's advice and getting girls like Bob. The side plot is probably my favorite part of the episode, like the whole London not being able to go to sleep thing and how involved everybody gets. First, she calls Maddie in the middle of the night, and we get to see them in the late night hours, which is kind of funny. And her requests are just so demanding, and then she hangs up on her. And then, of course, we get Mr. Mosby on a phone call, and he's really sweet, genuine, and actually cares about her. Like, this is a moment that we see his true colors, and I love it. Everybody's exhausted the next day for helping London sleep, except for her. So they're like falling asleep at their jobs. Zach ends up getting a date with this girl because of the Ask Nancy column, and she finds out that he is Nancy. Very different than the Drake and Josh episode. In Drake and Josh, it's more about the embarrassment of it all, and in this one, it's more like the immoralness of it all. Because when the girl finds out, she's angry, and I would be too. It's definitely an invasion of privacy and trust. Although it is a public column, so I don't know why it's fair that you can get that mad. Like, you were the one who followed the advice, like, leave it alone. No, I'm just kidding. They try to help London sleep by having Esteban being a giant sheephead, and I don't know about you guys, but this would give me nightmares. Their techniques are really thoughtful, like pushing the bed back and forth to feel like she's on a wave, and Carrie even coming over. I can't believe how much people care about London. And it turns out everybody falls asleep except for Carrie, and that's kind of how it ends for them. Cody's upset because obviously he reveals himself as Ask Shirley in the column to kind of make it up to the girl. And this literally was exactly what Cody was talking about. Like, this is why Zach should not have joined the paper. He did exactly what he said he would do. And even though the girl forgives him, poor Cody, this episode does not work in his favor. I do like these anonymous advice column ideas. It reminds me of Ask FM or those 2000s social media posts where you post anonymously, but you kind of give a hint to who you are. I don't know why. Like, at that age, we were just so curious to know more about each other outside of our normal everyday life. That need evolved into social media, but for the time being, this was all they had. Or at least this was all the writers that wrote this show thought they had. I'm sure they grew up with even less, because this was definitely a multimedia era. But a good one. A good episode all around. So season 2, episode 20 is That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. The beginning of a trilogy of episodes that cross over some of the most important franchises of our generation. And of course, its second episode is The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, taking off from where That's So Raven just started. So Raven is stranded at the Tipton after her flight's been canceled. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in the episode before this, she had this whole fashion show where she checked into the Tipton. Here we follow Zack and Cody and their storyline. They're getting ready for their mother's birthday, and it's gonna be a whole surprise. But when they run into Raven, she warns them and has a vision that they are going to be harmed during this experience. Which, can you imagine if somebody came up to you and is like, don't go to your mom's birthday party? Like, I would be terrified. Seeing her interact with all the Sweet Life cast is really funny. Like, Raven Simone and Ashley Tisdale have good chemistry. I love how Cody even questions how Raven has her visions and, like, enacts it himself.
You were doing this.
It's really funny when Maddie comes into the picture because Raven, like, fangirls over her, because that means, like, in this universe, London Tipton is super famous, which makes sense because in the Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana special, that was kind of a similar scenario. The cool thing about this episode specifically is they make the B-plot be about Raven, which is great because it's like we're not abandoning that first episode of this trilogy, unlike the Hannah Montana one, which we'll get to later. But Raven still has a way to go. She basically is like, hey, if I can get London wearing one of my dresses, realizes that would be game-changing for her. Maddie even says she'll help her with this because she's so close with London, which is true. London takes advantage of her a lot, so I feel like Maddie can at least get this one favor from her. The boys deter their mom from thinking they're planning anything for them, and Cody takes this burden through the rest of the episode, the whole vision thing with Raven, and he becomes super paranoid. There's an episode in season 3 where he also becomes like a germaphobe, and that's what this kind of reminds me of. This is also one of the first times I feel like I saw London talk to her mirror, and it shouldn't be so game-changing, but it definitely sets the tone for how rich she is for the rest of the series.
So, how do I look?
Fair.
Maddie, can you move before it cracks?
She pretty much does not want to wear Raven's outfit, and Maddie is a little bit annoyed at that. It's so funny when Zack mocks Cody and uses Raven's whole vision thing for it.
Wait a minute. I'm having a vision. It's someone taking your $5 you left on the dresser. Who? Me!
Arwen comes on in this crossover, and I wish he got to meet Raven. Everybody at the Tipton is essentially getting ready for the surprise party for Carrie. Zack is trying to keep things straight, while Cody is still freaking out about what could possibly happen to him. Maddie actually uses Esteban to help her sneak into London's room and switch the tags of the dress she's supposed to wear with Raven's dress. And if I were Maddie, I wouldn't go this far for a stranger, but I guess it's thoughtful. I love Esteban being her right-hand man, though. Like, he is really funny in this stuff, but I do wish they incorporated Raven a little bit more, or Hannah Montana. Like, this is a crossover special, and right in this moment, it doesn't really feel like it. Although there are some funny jokes in this scene. To get Cody to calm down about the superstition stuff, Zack is essentially like, let's switch clothes, so if anything were to happen, it would happen to me. Which is kind of genius, actually. They get to the surprise party, and everybody's getting ready, and Cody and Zack look super unnatural in each other's clothes. I can't believe it took them this long to do a plot like this, like representing one another like you're twins. Like, that should be a whole plot point. Raven doesn't know Carrie, nor does she understand that there's a surprise party going on for her, so she is not informed about this. So when she walks into the party, everybody cheers, but it's an accident, and she thinks it's for her, which is so funny. Look at her basking in this glory. I'm just happy she's in the episode more than like 2 seconds. The whole surprise is ruined, and Carrie just walks in on it, and everybody has to have a delay in their surprise. She's so happy that she cries, which is so sweet. As they sing the copyright appropriate birthday song, Arwen's present to Carrie is this giant vacuum-like robot, and it starts to attack the whole party, even cornering Zack into the cake. So they cleverly avoided the vision that Raven set out. I love how it's a That's So Raven style plot in the Zack and Cody universe, because it makes it a lot more unique and a reason to actually justify this special. Like, Zack and Cody wouldn't do this as a normal episode, and that's how you know it kind of takes on its own identity with this other property. That's the way to do it, guys. Like, make it something new. Give our Sweet Life characters our That's So Raven plot lines. Although I wish that That's So Raven's friends were involved in this in some way. Like, it's just Raven Simone going to a different set. Like, come on, guys. In the end, London does wear Raven's dress, and Raven's super excited about it, but London feels betrayed because she realizes it's not actually a Louis Vuitton, and Maddie switched the tags. London feels betrayed, but everything kind of gets solved when Hannah Montana enters the Tipton. So this is kind of nice. I feel like this is the best part in the 3-part special because they actually incorporate all 3 shows. Something that Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana actually never did. Like, when Miley comes in, she compliments the dress, and it kind of solves the whole problem, making London feel a lot better about Raven's choices. Seeing Hannah Montana and London vibe is also cool because you get a more grand scope of what this world's actually like, especially for the celebrities. Overall, this is definitely one of the best Disney Channel crossover episodes, and even though it's oversaturated with bad specials, I feel like this is a gem in all of them. So the next episode after The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, season 2, episode 20, we have episode 21, and it's called What the Hey. It kind of has a similar premise to that movie Yes Man, about that character that has to say yes to everything in his life, and I feel like What the Hey is kind of a parody on What the H-E double hockey sticks. But yeah, it's pretty much Zack's influence over Cody, overriding his normal beliefs. Zack's able to convince Cody to skip school one day, to just go to the mall. Apparently he does this all the time, which I don't believe because Cody's with you all the time. Like, you would know if Zack got away this often. He doesn't. They spend their whole day pretty much at the mall. Zack does an impression of Carrie to tell the school that they're not coming in that day, and I don't know how he's so good at it.
Hello, this is Carrie Martin. Zack and Cody are homesick today.
Of course, they probably got the voice actress to actually use her own voice, but it's so funny coming out of Zach's mouth. In the B-plot, London is dealing with one of her dad's new wives. Another time we don't see Mr. Tipton, but we get to see somebody involved with Mr. Tipton. This woman just comes in and acts like she could just get all the love she wants from London, but London's pretty cold to her. You never really see London be this way toward other people, unless they're poor, I guess. And Maddie tries to get her to be an optimist about it, like actually get to know her. Like maybe this woman might last a while. And as the viewer, like I'm thinking that they're setting us up for a recurring character, or this woman will come back. But she is kind of annoying the way she inserts herself into London's life as such an older woman that doesn't really have to do with what London's up to. It's definitely inauthentic. During the whole mall experience, Bob even shows up, Cody and Zach's friend from school. He is one of the funniest side characters, I swear. The conflict actually arises when Carrie goes to the mall that day, so Zack and Cody essentially have to hide from their mom. London and Maddie and Mr. Tipton's new wife go to the mall too, so it kind of brings both A and B plots together, which I really like. So it's like everybody's at the mall this episode. Zack and Cody find the perfect way to kind of hide, because apparently MTV is like recording some kind of music video and they need people in it. So they volunteer themselves to be a part of it. I don't know what this band is, but it feels like a parody of like Paramore, and I wonder if they're real in real life. Zack and Cody essentially try to blend into this video, but they do a really bad job about not getting noticed. Of course, Carrie figures it out. Surprise, surprise. She's even mad at Bob. Cody has a little speech about how he needed this day, and he's so tired of the expectations of being a straight-A student, and even kisses the backup singer, which that cannot be legal. Or sorry, not the backup singer, the lead singer of that band. But yeah, you feel good for Cody because it was definitely a positive episode for him. And Mr. Mosby and London get to finally tie up their loose end by talking about Mr. Tipton's wife, and how London should give her a try, just for her own personal benefit. Like she would gain a lot from just meeting another person and getting to know her. So yeah, What the Hey is definitely a fun episode. Then we have A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I love the episodes that involve the characters being in a play. I just saw it in Jimmy Neutron. I just saw it in Wizards of Waverly Place. I even saw it on Zoe 101. I can't believe how many shows dip into the theater aspect. It's probably because all the writers have a background in the arts and want to talk about theater. I personally don't relate to this, even though I write musicals, put them out on Spotify, and you should probably listen to them. This episode's infamous because we have the famous Selena Gomez. And something that none of the other play or theater-like episodes do is reflect the play they're making it about. Like, they do A Midsummer's Nightmare, which is kind of a parody of the Shakespeare show A Midsummer Night's Dream. And it's so funny because it's all about this miscommunication of love and, like, different characters falling in love with the other ones. And they actually make that happen with Zack and Cody's plot lines. Like, Zach's involved in the school show just to get closer to specifically the girl Selena Gomez plays. Cody is really upset with his part because he has to play, like, a donkey. This girl that keeps following Zach around is trying to get in between him and potentially Selena Gomez. I love how Cody's not even a threat. But Zach does get closer to Selena, making Cody pretty angry. But it's not their fault. Like, they genuinely have a love story together. The whole B-plot is actually that Carrie joins the theater troupe and helps them direct the show. But she becomes, like, the most pretentious character, even going so far that the theater director is like, what the heck? Cody tries to get back at Zach by going with his crush, which I think that's a fair game. If that weren't enough, the girl who had a crush on Zach is now trying to get with Cody to make Zach jealous. And Cody has to wear a donkey head the whole time. Selena and the other girl end up getting in a fight on stage during the show, which is totally how theater works. Their personal problems literally come onto the stage, with Carrie trying to hold down the fort, but to no avail. This is like just a giant mess. Meanwhile, London, she's inspired by the Asian principles of feng shui, and it's really cool what they do with the Tipton. They add like waterfalls and kimono robes. And even though Esteban, Mr. Mosby, and Maddie are culturally insensitive and don't like the outfits, London keeps trying to push it and make it worse. Which is so funny, like her privilege allows her to literally take 5 other people's jobs and just up and like switch them around, and they just have to deal with it. Like, that is a little too much privilege. Basically, this whole setup gives them a lot of good luck and great things start happening to them. But once the good luck starts to go away, everybody kind of abandons this whole theme. And it kind of reminds me of how people want to jump into other cultures, but the second they don't love something about it, they kind of step away. And it's really funny because obviously Esteban isn't even involved in the American culture, and yet he has the same situation. London ends up changing her mind about the entire idea. This part's a little dark. London is talking about her father and how he like bulldozed through a farm, and it's clearly Esteban's farm, which is way too topical and kind of dark looking back at it. All around, this episode was just full of fun. I like that we step out of the normal sweet life plot lines and follow Zack and Cody and their love stories, especially in the play context. Like, there's just so much you can do with actors acting in a play within the universe. It's just so meta and funny, and all the miscommunications do it really well. I like how often they're on stage and giving lines to each other. Like, it's a fun episode. See, the boring parts of season 2 of Zack and Cody are starting to be lost on me. I'm having a really good time as the episodes progress. I feel like they're a lot more interesting. The only one I really didn't love so far was the con man one, mainly because it's like, it just felt like an earlier season 1 episode with the characters less developed. And even though I liked seeing Zack and Cody in the vent system, it just didn't add too much to my life. So surprisingly, Lost in Translation doesn't translate well. It's season 2, episode 23, and Mr. Mosby is expecting this Japanese company to stay at the hotel and hopefully come again next time. Kind of reminds me of Nintendo. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if Nintendo checked into the Tipton? That would be such an unnecessary crossover. Cody reveals that they're also having a international day at school where they're talking about different languages and cultures. When the company comes in, he even attempts to talk to them in Japanese, and he is so wrong with this. It's kind of funny.
Boku no pants no naka ni hachi no suga.
Maddie hears that London is going to just throw away her clothes, which is very wasteful, so tries to kind of get her to let her get some of her clothes. Later, Zack and Cody accidentally push a woman over in the lobby. What the heck? And it turns out to be a famous Japanese singer that is going to be singing at the Tipton. So Mosby's pretty angry. They end up inviting the singer over for dinner, which is actually kind of sweet to think that they would have a relationship with this older woman. And it's cool that she's also a singer, so like inviting her to dinner would actually give her and Carrie a lot to talk about. A lot of the jokes in this episode are about the international customs. Like, Komari brings a fish to the boys' house and they're more like, what the heck is this? And that's kind of the butt of the joke. The whole B plot with Maddie and London is actually them getting stuck in London's closet, which is super funny. It's like probably the wackiest thing that happens between these two girls. Kind of reminds me of the Drake and Josh Treehouse episode, where it's like these two characters can't get out and they're like almost trying to go into survival mode. Zack and Cody actually bring Kamiko to their international day as like the presentation, and they end up leaving her behind, which is kind of rude. Like, you bring this woman to a new place, she's not used to anything going on, and now she's just by herself because Zack and Cody went off with the girls they impressed. Of course, Mr. Mosby is looking for her, and Zack and Cody do not know what to tell him. And then they got that famous meme, how do you lose a woman?
How do you lose a woman?
You forget to cherish her.
And obviously this is like a really big cultural moment for the whole show. And the rest of the episode is trying to find this woman and bring her back to the Tipton. On the sidelines, Maddie and London are starting to turn against each other in the closet. London apparently found mints to eat, and Maddie is really sus of it. And they all get into a big fight. And this is where the episode takes a really crazy turn, because they need somebody to perform at the Tipton, since the singer is gone now. I don't know why they're not more concerned about finding her than putting on this performance, but I guess I can't critique. So Carrie, Zack, and Cody dress up in Japanese attire and put on this really awkward musical performance, which I don't know how they would be doing this well for something they like couldn't have rehearsed. They even wear makeup and wigs. It is crazy. I don't know if it's offensive or just off-putting. The actual singer returns to cheer them on, but Mr. Mosby obviously gets her up there first. This is kind of the annoying part. She sings Happy and You Know It, and everybody gets into it, and sure, it's enjoyable, but it's like, why that song? She's supposed to be a famous singer. That's not even like a birthday song material. London and Maddie actually do have a moment in their closet, which means that this whole plot wasn't for naught, and until Master Mosby comes to save them, and it seems like they digress in terms of their friendship. So, great episode overall. We only went backwards in our plot. But I really like the cultural appropriation in this episode, and that they use the plot to kind of make it make sense. And of course, Zack and Cody leaving the singer behind at school is like a funny flaw that their characters had made. And there's the famous meme that we'll never forget about from this episode. I can't believe how many moments in Sweet Life had gone so viral in that sense. The next episode of Sweet Life is called Volley Dad, Season 2, Episode 24. And this I was surprised because, one, Carrie's hair had changed significantly since the last episode, so it feels like a whole different tone altogether. And same thing with Zack and Cody. Their hair also has gotten significantly longer, and it's noticeable. We even get a more character-driven episode because Carrie comes home with a boyfriend that she's been with for quite some time. There's a really funny bit where the boys are asking where she's been all night because it seems like they're overprotective fathers.
You're gonna go straight to your room.
This is my room.
Well, then you will stay right here, and we will go straight to our room.
But it's just sweet. In the B plot, it's all about volleyball. We get some of the High School Musical girls back, and I guess they're just interchangeable because they just take random ones and put them on a team. London is super bad at volleyball, and that is no surprise to me. But she has a crush on this guy at their school, so she's trying to act into it. Oh my god! Mrs. Briggs from iCarly is the gym coach in this, which is kind of funny because she's really intense as it is, especially if you know that show. It's weird to me that the episode is named after the volleyball plot as opposed to Carrie's new husband plot. Like, that other one seems a little bit more impactful to the overall series. Zack and Cody actually called their dad because they're worried about their mom and this new guy. I mean, Cody's worried. Zack just wants to be rich, and that would happen if they got married. The dad is actually kind of supportive. He's not super against it. He's a little jealous, but I kind of like this guy and how he treats the boys despite them being apart. It becomes a really awkward dinner because suddenly Carrie's ex-husband and her new boyfriend are having dinner at their house, all because of Zack and Cody. And I don't know why these boys are making all these inconvenient experiences for this mother, but it's funny because Kurt and the new guy actually get along surprisingly well. I was not expecting that to happen at all. Mr. Mosby obviously also wants them to take away the kids, so Zack and him are trying to vouch for the marriage, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he's gonna propose to her. Maddie cares way too much about winning this volleyball tournament that when she notices that London plays really well once she's mad, and she decides to kiss the guy she's into to help her win the game, which is super shallow, Maddie. I didn't know you were willing to go there. I also didn't know London would be this good at volleyball. She tells London what she did as like kind of like a badge of honor, and London is no doubt offended that Maddie used her like that. I love how Maddie just says out loud that she used her, and they're both kind of like, oh, I guess that doesn't sound too good. But it's good because it feels like London's always the one with the flaws, but now Maddie is actually also taking some of the flack. Like, I feel like it adds a lot of balance to their dynamic. Not enough to justify naming the episode after them, but you know what I mean. Meanwhile, Carrie goes on a dinner with this new guy about to be proposed to, and Cody is still not over the fact that he doesn't think that they're right for each other. So he sneaks in through the vent with an attempt to sabotage this proposal. Of course, his dad meets him there and kind of talks him down from this. I love how you could see literal LED lights in the vent system just to light the characters. Like, of course, in real life, it would be super dark and you couldn't see anything in there, but it's just so cheesy. I never noticed it. Mr. Mosby actually tries to put on the ring before this man proposes to Carrie, and it gets stuck. And I did not expect Mr. Mosby to be the one to raise the conflict here, but it's actually really funny. The man has to propose with Mosby, essentially, who's wearing the ring, but Carrie doesn't even say yes. So Cody just realizes that this whole thing is out of his control anyway, and even if his mom doesn't want to do something, she's not going to do it, and that it's not really his business. But it's sweet that, you know, they cared about her enough to worry about this guy. Maddie and London finally make up, and this whole episode feels like it's like bringing the pace back in the show. Like, I feel like not only is it funnier again, but there's actual real stakes to deal with. All around just a good time. In Loosely Ballroom, which I don't understand what that's parodying, we have a dance episode, kind of like how iCarly had a dance dance episode. Drake and Josh had a dance episode, and now the other channel's doing it. It's just weird to me. It feels like they're trying to recreate the magic of that dance number they had when they did the commercial in season 1, but it's not as memorable because it's more intentionally planned. Zack and Cody, I guess, are dating the French twins because they come into the hotel together and they see Esteban already prepping to enter a dance contest. He's really big on ballroom dancing and really good at it too. He really needs money for his sister's quinceañera, so it's important that he comes in first place for this competition. One by one, people start to take his class to kind of pity him, but he's okay with it. Like London and Lance, even Carrie, and an old man guest star with his nurse join. When Mr. Mosby tells them that there's going to be a competition for this, Esteban realizes this is his way of fully getting on board. So he just needs a whole team. Thus, everybody in the circle is going to be on the team, including Mr. Mosby. Zack and Cody are practicing dancing at home, and it's funny how committed they are to this. Like, I like how when there's a character that's not super involved in their lives, they like go out of their way to help them and be a part of their lives. Like, it makes it really sweet. Esteban even brings in another dancer, making another woman jealous because she wants to dance with him. But pretty much the next part of the episode is everybody having trouble with each other. Like Zack and Cody have trouble with their French twins, even having to switch. Carrie and Mr. Mosby do not have a lot of flexibility together. And this is like Esteban's only chance to get this money. And it's just him complaining the whole time, which they're helping you. Give him a break. Although they're so embarrassingly bad, they do not know what to do about it. Carrie ends up being the best dancer, so Esteban has to take her from Mr. Mosby. Although, plot twist, the night of the dance competition, Carrie is sick, so they have to kind of rely on everybody but her, which is embarrassing because everybody's pretty bad. Zack and Cody make their dates angry because they keep trying to switch them and even accidentally insult them, so they can't go on together. They try to make the episode more about the boys when really it's about Esteban and have them dance together. We think that they're gonna win it for everybody, but it turns out they do this lift that is illegal in this competition.
Did you see that, Esteban? We did great! I mean, the lift was awesome!
Yes, but lifting is illegal.
I'm sure no one noticed.
We noticed.
Which I don't know why a lift would be illegal in a dance competition. London and Lance do a poor job, and Carrie tries to pull through, but it is not working. Esteban thinks that his old dancer comes back, the one with experience, but she really just has a new partner, and so he's triple doomed. Until they find out that the nurse actually paid attention all the dance classes, and she wants to step in, which is, I don't know how you'd be good just by watching like that, but whatever. Her and Esteban have an amazing performance, and they actually win right then and there, which, is there anybody else at this competition beside them and the other two? It's definitely a surprising episode. I expected it to be a lot more like the bowling episode, where the entire Tipton has to be a team for some kind of event, and we have all these unlikely characters joining, which reminds me, I wish we saw Arwen in this episode. Like, he would have killed it in this plot. In that one, Zack got punished, and that was really the issue, because it's like they could not win without Zack. And in this one, it's kind of the opposite. Mosby doesn't care as much about this specific one, and it's more on Carrie's shoulders, because she's the only good one. And then when she gets sick, obviously that adds a layer of complication that makes them have to switch it up. I'm just glad it was less like it than I thought, but they still found a reason to bring all the characters together for a competition. Season 2, episode 26 is called Scary Movie, and I can't believe how many Disney Channel shows specifically did episodes about the kids seeing a scary movie and then not being able to deal with it. In this one, Zack and Cody are focused on trying to take their French twins to the movie theater. And can we just talk about this relationship for a second? Like, two blonde twins have to date two blonde twins. Like, I don't know why this just feels unrealistic, and like the writers were like, oh, maybe twins just usually pair off. It cannot be accurate though. It's more so about Carrie's relationship with the boys, because she does not want them seeing a scary movie, but the boys kind of want to go to the movies alone. They use it as an excuse of like, they just don't want to be bogged down by their mom, but really it's to get away with seeing this R-rated film, which I think it's implied that it's R-rated, but they don't say it since it's Disney. Like, they don't want to promote people actually doing something like that. In the B-plot, it's super funny because London tries to act poor to impress a guy, which is like the opposite of what you would expect, like somebody acting rich, like Miley did in that one episode of Hannah Montana. This guy is like super into only poor girls, which is weird because I didn't realize that that was a taste people had. Maddie bets that she can't really pull it off, and London tries to anyway, which is funny because she really doesn't know anything. Zack and Cody try to pitch to their mom why they should be going to this movie alone, and she agrees under the guise that they see the movie she picks out. I would be really upset about this. If my mom was like, you could only see the movie I want, I would be really annoyed. I don't know what she would even pick. London is so bad at being poor, she doesn't even know what a Subway is, and she thinks that Mosby and Maddie are trying to tease her about it, but really it exists. When Zack and Cody get to the movie, Zack is like, clearly we're gonna see the horror movie, and Cody is like, but the rules! They end up seeing the scary movie and defying their mom, and it becomes like one of the scariest things they've ever seen. They try to pretend that they haven't seen the movie, but Zack is actually really terrified.
I was not screaming, I was cheering. Don't you turn out that light!
And I love that he's the one that's secretly more scared of it, and Cody is like trying to rein him in. Later, Mr. Mosby comes to work, and the entire Tipton is barricaded with furniture. Of course, he thinks it's the boys, and right away we don't think they did it because we didn't see them do it. Carrie brings out the boys to tell Mr. Mosby they didn't do it, but he does not believe them. And it's so funny that she expects him to, because I definitely think if I were Carrie, I'd be like, yeah, these boys are definitely lying. Cody's like, we have to come clean, and they find out that Zack is the only one that could have done it, and he's embarrassed. Meanwhile, London pretends to be working at the counter to impress the guy because he's excited for her to be poor, and she gets herself caught in doing Maddie's entire shift for her. But hey, that's what she gets for doing this. Like, not only are you lying to somebody, you're pretending to be poor. Like, of course you're gonna get your comeuppance. She ends up blowing up on the guy because she's like, I am not gonna pretend to be poor anymore, which is like, nobody asked you to play poor. The guy says that he actually doesn't discriminate based on rich or poor, which I don't know. That's all you've been talking about is how excited to be poor you are. And I guess the two are not over. They go on a date. Maddie is like perplexed, which I would be too. And the next night, Zack actually does the same thing he did before. He's trying to keep out the zombies subconsciously because he's scared of that movie. And Cody's trying to stop him from doing it because obviously they don't want to get in trouble for seeing it. With everybody trying to catch who done it, Cody even falls for the traps they set up to prevent him from doing it. Mr. Mosby is super surprised to find out that he's doing it without his own volition, that he's not choosing to be scared. He's just scared of this movie. And he uses this against Carrie as being a bad parent, which is kind of rude, Mr. Mosby. But I don't know, Carrie is pretty upset because that's exactly what she told them not to do. She takes them to the really cringe Lassie dog type movie. And it's a fair punishment. I feel like Cody definitely gets rewarded for his good behavior in this, and Zack is punished for sure. They've been really getting on a good stride of their chemistry lately. I feel like it's been so dependent on the scripts themselves, but it's at this point that Sweet Life is picking up a natural pace based on how they actually interact with one another, making it a lot more funnier and a lot less held back. I don't know why, there was just like 5 or 6 episodes I felt a little bit bored with at the beginning of this season, but I'm not sure if I could pick up on why. Like, can you guys tell? I don't know if you feel the same way either, and it's definitely not just because of Carrie's haircut. I know that the hair is not that big of a deal, but it did change a lot mentally for me. Okay guys, it's finally time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The final part to Zack and Cody Season 3. Next to iCarly, this is one of the longest seasons of all time. I think their third season, 39 episodes, and this entire second season is 29 episodes, which is crazy. I thought Zack and Cody went on so much longer than it did, but really it was just 3 seasons. Isn't that insane? It definitely lasted longer on the air, probably because of how many episodes there are. We went over the middle chunk last time and kind of got into all the middle road quality episodes. Like, there would be some episodes that were really good and then some that were really boring, like the Tea Party episode or the Con Artist. I really liked it in the latter half. I felt like it was getting a lot better, but it was touch and go for a while. It felt like they were trying so hard to stick to the script. It stopped it from being as funny as it could have been. As we go to the last 13 episodes, I want to say that Zack and Cody has somehow made storytelling history. Whether it's talking about eating disorders, going to Hollywood, and even Cody becoming a mother? Yeah,
This is gonna be a fun one. So we start with season 2, episode 27, Wilderness. I always love it when multiple kid shows do this boy and girl scout trope. Like Camp Laszlo has the Squirrel Scouts, Ed, Edd n Eddy has the Rangers. It was literally on Billy and Mandy that they were trying to get badges too. I can't believe that this is such a common trope in 2000s media. As of now, I don't think I know anybody that's involved in an organized group like that. Except this time, Zack and Cody are.
We're not cute. We're grizzly scouts.
We can survive anything.
Oh, God! Mr. Mosby is leading this troop for some reason, and it fits him way too well. Like, I don't know why this guy is just meant to be in a position of power, because all he can do is yell and critique people. It's a camping episode where we find these quote-unquote modern kids take on the wilderness, which is really funny, like, right off the bat. Like, not only do they get poison ivy, but so many bad things happen to them throughout this episode. They end up getting their entire camp attacked by a bear and start to panic because they're worried they're gonna be stuck there.
When the going gets tough, the tough go fishing.
I hate fish.
You would be surprised at how wonderful they taste when you're starving.
And of course, this time around, Zack is a lot better at the wilderness than Cody is. Kind of like the Books and Birdhouses episode where Cody wasn't doing well and Zack felt bad for him, so he gave him his project. But before we hop into that, the meantime is about Maddie seeing this new guy that she just met in the Tipton lobby. Turns out he was dating London Tipton at one point, which I didn't get any insight on her having boyfriends before. Would have been interesting to hear about. But this acts more of like a comedy bit. It's about Carrie trying to get this massage, enjoy her self-care day, while London and Maddie get into a full-on argument because of this boy. All that happens kind of off-screen.
They're away for the whole week and I miss them terribly. Oh, now they're back!
First, Maddie comes in complaining about London, and then London comes in complaining about Maddie, and they just talk over Carrie and kind of solve the issue all on their own. With Cody feeling super insecure for not being able to do the amount Zack is, he says he's gonna go look for food, but ends up finding an old man in an hermit-like cabin. Cody takes advantage of his resources and returns to the camp a hero.
You just have to know how to find it.
Wow, can you show us where?
I picked it all.
But before anybody could praise him for it, the old man shows up. It's really awkward. So the good news is they're all saved, but the awkward news is Cody lied. The boys end up coming together and he makes up for it. But Carrie's story doesn't end super well because she ends up not getting the money back for her massage. And London and Maddie somehow make her the center of the issue. They're like, you're telling her this and you're telling her this, and come together in rebellion to Carrie, which is kind of wacky. But the whole episode ends on a funny note when the old man is being painted by Carrie, so I guess they win? Question mark? I don't know. Interesting episode overall. I'm not sure if you guys went camping in the 2000s, because here in New Jersey, we had the Pine Barrens, and it was a lot of fun to, like, get away from the city for a while. I feel like over time, that's changed so much with the addition of even more technology. Glamping is now a thing, and they weren't even talking about it back then. Like, I feel like maybe London would have an episode where she's glamping. I don't know. I think that would be funny. But Mosby, this is, like, his best episode. I don't like the episode too much overall, but he is hilarious in this.
Don't worry, I have medicine for that. And one more thing, it is critical that you don't...
What?
Touch anyone.
In the next episode, things get a little bit weird. It's called Birdman of Boston, Season 2, Episode 28. This one is kind of akin to the Boston Tea Party episode, in which something's going on that is kind of important to the scene, and all the characters have different opinions about how they should go about it. Without being too vague, there's a really cool hawk that circles the Tipton.
You know, I've never seen an eagle before. And you still haven't. This is a hawk.
Everything goes haywire, though, when the bird actually attacks the Tipton restaurant. CGI here is kind of weird, but I guess everybody else is falling for it, so I will too.
Single file! Single file! Okay,
Mosby ends up getting really annoyed, and suddenly this hawk is his enemy. The hawk ends up having an egg, which Cody gets really protective of. So suddenly it's Cody and Zack versus Mr. Mosby. Zack ends up finding a way to profit off of all of this, taking a camcorder around, and Mosby recruits Arwen as his right-hand man to help him stop this bird. Cody ends up caring for the hawk's egg, insistent on being its mother. He becomes really parental and protective, and it's really funny to see Cody this way. Zack gets a little annoyed because it ends up making him more of a ladies' man than he was before.
Anything but eggs, okay? It just wouldn't seem right because of the face. baby.
And Mosby ends up convincing Cody that they should just give it over to the zoo, which Carrie ends up pointing out might not actually make the hawk happy, which is a good point. Like, we knew how zoos were even back then, that they are just traps for animals, and we kind of feel bad for them because they're not living their natural lives. Like, we're just putting them in cages to gawk at. A topic that I'm surprised Disney even covered back then. Of course, we have to have advocate Maddie come out and defend this bird, defend Cody, and it's actually kind of sweet seeing them all come together against Mosby. Mr. Mosby here, though, is sleazy for trying to convince Cody to do the wrong thing. Like, this is a little out of character for him. I don't think he would be so against this bird's safety that he would tell Cody to do something he doesn't think is good.
Hawks live longer in captivity.
They do?
Oh, yes, by several years.
There's a happy ending, though. Like, the hawk ends up flying free 6 weeks later, which I can't believe we followed this story for that long. It makes me wonder if things were going on in the meantime, like maybe that con artist came during that part. It would explain Carrie's aggressive switching of hairstyles, that's for sure. But yeah, they share a beautiful moment where they get to see the hawk riding free, and Mosby ends up finding the beauty in the situation anyway. So it's like everybody kind of grew in this moment.
I have to admit, he is rather magnificent.
And that's why they should be allowed to fly free.
And that's why I'm running out of suits.
Arwen is probably the funniest part of this episode, along with Cody's commitment to the egg, but I wish we saw more of Cody being a parental figure. Like, that would have been so funny. They barely scratched the surface of how good it could have been.
Boy, I am so bogus.
You're not bogus. You're just a worried mother.
All around, one of the last 6, 7 out of 10 episodes. The rest I consider 8 and up because they are quality. For example, Nurse Zack is pretty funny. This episode's about Carrie, actually, which is kind of interesting. We haven't had a plot about her since the Scary Movie episode back in the last retrospective, but basically the boys are taking advantage of her. They kind of don't appreciate everything she does for them. Next thing you know, she's worn down and sick because Carrie is a caring mother and has to stay in the hotel bed all day pretty much. She has to miss work, and Zack is the only one not sick because Cody got the same thing she did.
Yep. He's sick.
Wow, you're good.
They end up getting a really incompetent doctor to check out Carrie, and he's not that helpful. If anything, he's more comedic relief. And then in the B plot, we have Mr. Mosby about to give out Employee of the Month, and the winner gets to go to any Tipton of their choice. So pretty much everybody grovels at Mr. Mosby's feet. We start to see more of Patrick as the guy associated with like the restaurant part of the Tipton. He's actually really funny, purposely talking aloud to seem like he's a better person than he is.
I enjoy that wonderful feeling you get when you know you're doing your job better than anyone else in the hotel. Sometimes oh, Mr. Mosby!
And Esteban trying to carry the luggage at max speed. And here I'm vouching for Maddie because she's just had so many sad stories thus far. She deserves a win. As you can imagine, the staff at the Tipton are, I don't know how to say this politely, incompetent, so they end up causing way more of a mess than it was worth. I love how the one time we don't see Zack and Cody in the lobby, everybody else is causing Mr. Mosby problems. It's like they're not even the big issue. So now Zack has to step up for Carrie and Cody if they're both gonna be stuck in the bed sick. He ends up getting groceries and has a little bit of spoiled energy trying to get their mom to actually care for him while they're sick.
Mom, door. Oh, I'm sorry. That was insensitive of me. Cody, door!
And it's cute because Zack ends up pulling his weight in the long run. Like, he cooks for Carrie, he helps Cody with his dehumidifier. It's actually him stepping up to the plate, which we haven't really seen Zack have to do. And he's really funny when he starts getting like resentful like Carrie and starts having an attitude. It also makes me realize how close in relation the characters are, which kind of adds a layer of realism to it. It ends with one of those Full House moments where Zack essentially says he understands everything Carrie's been through, and they kind of have a moment, which is really sweet.
When you're doing all this stuff and I'm doing nothing, I'm gonna really appreciate it.
That's a start.
And the Mosby plotline is wrapped up by him giving Employee of the Month to Carrie for, I guess, not getting in the way.
You are Employee of the Month!
Can my prize be this box of tissues?
Yes!
Oh, and Lance was purple from the pool. We have to point that out because it's actually really funny. And it ends with everybody getting into the elevator and it dropping, which is my worst nightmare. You guys ever have a dream where an elevator drops? Yeah, me too. Overall, this was a really funny episode with a little bit of heart to it at the same time. I don't know how they managed to get that balance here. It was a simple plot, but they got a lot of really good jokes out of it. And we even saw a side of Cody that was spoiled, which I kind of dig. It's given me that stay home from school vibe where it's like you don't have to go to school because you're sick and then the whole house is yours, but it's kind of empty.
200 single ply tissues. I wanted 2 ply. We'll glue them together. Ow!
But Nurse Zack, great episode. The next episode after that is called Club Twins, Season 2, Episode 30. And this one is kind of a dream of mine. Like, it's when you're a kid and you're like, I wish I could run a business, but I'm 12. With Zack and Cody not being able to afford to do anything they really want to do, they learn from Maddie that the hotel lobby is pretty empty on Monday nights, so maybe turn it into a dance party. Cody and Zack pitch it to Mr. Mosby as if like they're in a business meeting. And how in the world did they get these drawings? Like, they are overly impressive. There's no way they like found a way to get this together so quickly. And me, you, and everybody is surprised to hear that he actually approves of something like this.
Cody will be in charge of the money.
Then what am I in charge of?
Blowing up the balloon.
The boys use the ballroom at the Tipton, and suddenly everything is a lot more impressive than it was before. Mosby shows up the next morning to confront them about the bills they racked up, but since they made so much money, this win gets Zack in way over his head, and he suddenly wants to expand. I'm not talking franchising, I'm talking about like the party itself. We get a lot of good moments with some of the side characters, like Barbara goes crazy, we see Allison Stoner again, which is cool, and Bob gets to be the bartender. Oh my gosh, classic Bob.
Yeah, I've never had soda before. I'm not allowed to have sugar, caffeine, or bubbles.
I drink it all the time and I'm okay. Better than okay. Great. So great, I haven't slept in 3 days.
The B-plot is kind of insane. London is basically giving Maddie a bunch of free stuff, and it's kind of like, why is she being so nice? And we find out pretty quickly that all of these products are making Maddie have allergic reactions. So London is basically poisoning her, or using her like a rat to test products, which, London, come on, this is too far.
Did you test this stuff? Yes. On you. I should take a picture of this for the boys in Daddy's lab. No, they'll probably want to know about it. No, please don't. No. Ow! I can't see. You're lucky. You're not looking so good.
But going back to the main plot, it's really funny. The entire club adapts to be this huge party project. They even have cages for old women to dance in. Oh, and they have old people as a band. But their style in this episode is impeccable. Look at this. I don't know if 2 twins at this age would be so into this psychedelic theme. Like, the retroness is cool, but like, did they really come up with that? I don't know. The party becomes short-lived, and next thing you know, they're cleaning up all the trash off the ground. With Mr. Mosby giving them another bill, they realize it's time to call in the towel. Or I guess throw it off. I don't know how those terms work.
We're left with $400. Well, hey, that's not bad.
Oh, no, that should cover about half the damages. The rest you can work off scrubbing pots and pans for minimum wage. Peace.
This was just such a killer fantasy episode for me. As somebody who likes to lead in a bunch of different things, like imaginative projects, I would have loved to create my own club, and to imagine all my friends there, like, that is the ultimate power move. Zack and Cody's dynamic when they're actually like working together is always funny, and it's something I wish the Sweet Life on Deck did a little bit better, because this is like an episode that would be on that show.
Go ahead, tell me off. Zack, I have to admit, running a hot nightclub was a great experience, thanks. You know, I don't think you're really grasping the whole tell me off concept.
None of the innuendos are that subtle though, like Barbara going off her rockers because she had soda. You can tell this is supposed to be a prerequisite to them in college. The cages are going a little bit too far though. I feel like you'd only find a setup like that at like a bar or a strip club, and it's like, why are we putting this in Disney Channel? The old lady group though does remind me of Mamma Mia. I'm not sure if you guys like that musical, but that is one of my favorites. Then we get another on location episode, Risk It
It All. So this one almost takes place entirely at a game show. Zack and Cody watch this show called Risk It All, and they're basically like, if we were ever on that show, we would never risk it all. You guess where I'm going with this? So the mom takes them to the live recording, and they get to dress up in costumes because I guess that's just what they do for this game show. And the boys dress up like Elvis, which is so funny.
Real yeah, or stop talking to me. I'll do whatever I want. Yeah.
If you guys are gonna work together as a team, you gotta listen to each other.
Yeah.
The host calls them up, and they're competing in a bunch of challenges. And I can remember this episode so much more than I remembered most of the episodes. I don't know why, I just thought the gimmick was really cool. This host, though, is really starting to bother me. Like, his over-the-top acting is really ridiculous.
Yeah.
The first challenge is Zack having to get past a sumo wrestler, which how in the world did they come up with that idea? That's not even fun to watch on TV. He gets so wrapped up in this that he answers the intellectual question, taking away Cody's chance to respond. And you know what that means? That means Cody has to be the one to take on the physical challenge next, which they discussed would not happen. Because I don't know if you've met Cody, but he's not an athlete. Not really. And they're doing so well for most of this episode, like winning so much. It almost feels like you're watching a game show, or you feel like you're a part of it because you really want them to win.
Tom Sawyer was written by Mark Twain.
Ooh, did he know his real name is Samuel Clemens?
What was his real name? Oh. Would you let me do my job?
In the B-plot, we get taken on a little journey between Maddie and Esteban, a really funny duo. Very different than Maddie and London. Like, I feel like the stories are a lot more Tipton-based, as opposed to, they haven't really been in the Catholic school in a while, which kind of is sad. Like, I thought that was really funny. They still had a lot of jokes they could have kept making, but whatever, I guess we have to move on from that. Maddie and Esteban are tired of being mistreated at work. Like, they get fed up with Mosby one too many times. So Maddie ends up writing out her feelings as a fake email to Mr. Mosby. But of course, classic London comes in and sends it anyway.
I had to check my website and the letter was in the way. So I pressed the little sending button. Mr. Mosby wasn't supposed to see the letter!
So the episode is them breaking into Mr. Mosby's office, which, by the way, look at all these funny pictures in the background. Mr. Mosby has lived quite a few lives. If anything, I want to see the Mosby Eras tour. Not much more happens there. Mosby finds it, shames them. Maddie apologizes, says it wasn't for him, and it kind of ends there with a little bit of emotional probation from Mosby over here. We cut back to Risk It All, and Cody actually wins despite having astigmatism, which is so funny they just added that to the lore halfway through the next season. Cody ends up being the one a little too power hungry, and right when Zack wants to call the quits and not risk it all, Cody insists they will. Too bad for him, Zack is the one who has to go through with it.
All you gotta do to win the trip to Hawaii is spell the word dog. You've got to spell dog top down using these giant letters.
It's this little obstacle course where he has to spell the word dog while avoiding getting hit by women with nets. He gets his comeuppance because he's not able to win, making it all worthless, and me as an audience member feel really sad for them. It's just a lot of fun. I know Victorious did a game show type episode, and it being the way it was, I feel like this is such a stronger piece for that. If I wasn't so annoyed at the game show host for 90% of this episode, I feel like I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But overall, like, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is going uphill with its plot lines. Like, this is so fun. I really feel like the writers are just able to just go off and use the characters any way they want at this point. And the writers go off really crazy in the next episode, Season 2, Episode 32, Nugget of History. I watched this on Kevin Carlisle's channel. I'm not sure if you guys heard of that. He's a YouTuber that also covers some Disney stuff. And he actually did research to find out that everything that happens in this episode and is discussed is true. But let's get into it. So this is a Zack episode. It's kind of about a history report he has to make, and you know Zack, he's a slacker. It's not happening. Meanwhile, Mosby's grandmother is visiting, and this is hilarious because he is the one actually playing his own grandmother. And this is written really smart because not only is Mosby not at all like his grandma, but his grandma Rose is really sweet.
Get your looks from me, you know that, don't you, little peanut? Come on, get it!
And she even cares about kids, and is like, don't forget, kids are awesome. And he's like, yeah, okay, because you're always the opposite of your parents, I swear. Rose Mosby tells Zack and Cody a story about something that happened in the 40s, which is crazy because she must be really old at that point. Apparently, the textbooks don't mention this, but she was a part of the first black crew.
The SS Booker T. Washington.
You keep an anchor in your purse?
It's my keychain. In 1942, Captain Hugh Mulzac finally took command of the military's first integrated crew.
Zack is finally interested in history and can't stop asking questions about her experience, which I would too. Like, I feel like the best type of learning is through stories and talking to people. So he actually feels passionately about putting together a history report. In the meantime, London actually gets a job where Maddie works. I don't know how she's working at this place called the Cluck Bucket with the Tipton at the same time. Like, this girl is a workaholic. Of course, we love their buddy comedy energy. London is doing such a bad job. She even insults people through the drive-thru.
Will there be anything else? Suggest whatever's getting cold. Oh.
Both girls are pretty much immersed in this really tough day job, and it kind of puts us into this capitalism experience. This is one of the few times I feel like we see London actually struggle and things not work out for her. Her and Maddie end up in this chicken costume, but I feel like this is kind of a cheat. The way they get out of this situation is London's dad buys the restaurant, and then the two get to run it. But, like, why would we never see this establishment again if you did that? I don't know. I think it was unnecessary.
$6,000 an hour doesn't seem like much, but after a while, it starts to add up.
So Zack is really excited about his history report, shows his teacher, and the teacher is like, that's not in the textbook, therefore it's not right. Kind of talking about how a lot of textbooks we had growing up in the 2000s would specifically leave out certain parts of history that it was ashamed of, including downplaying the way we treated people of color, and straight up leaving out all the stuff we did as a flawed country. Now that the internet's here, it's nice that we actually get, like, the full honest truth, at least somewhere online. We're not limited to what the school systems are forcing us to read. Luckily, Rose Mosby comes into Zack's class and actually helps advocate for him, which is really sweet of her. She doesn't have to do that. One, she's not even related to the boys. Two, why is she hanging out with a guest at the hotel's kids? I don't know. I guess that's just random to me. But they end up getting the teacher's attention. Rose is able to even prove that she was dating Jackie Robinson, which is such a funny Easter egg, and gets the teacher to give Zack an A, which we're actually feeling really proud about, because when you get to tell a teacher they're wrong, it's always like a celebrational day. Like, how often did that happen when we were growing up?
Don't sass your teacher. Don't laugh at his pain.
And I like that he's not staying stubborn on this, like he actually gives Zack the grade, so he's not a bad guy, it just became a problem. Mr. Mosby doing both parts is really interesting. I just wish he as a character was in it a little bit more. It felt like he passed off the baton to Rose and then kind of disappeared. Like, Mr. Mosby could have been the one to defend the history project, or he and Rose could have had a single plot line to themselves. It feels like a missed opportunity to me, but it was still funny nonetheless, and the fact that they gave us a little glimpse into the school system and how rigged it might be, it was an extra bit of depth. This is definitely one of the most culturally revolutionary episodes, just in the fact that Disney was able to touch on subjects that were real. You know, like the Raven smoking episode, or even the next couple episodes that are about to come up. This season is just managing to surprise us by the way it's going off the rails, which is really cool. I feel like not a lot of shows get to explore this much stuff, but Zack and Cody are doing it, and not only doing it, but in an entertaining way.
I'm Batty. I'm Batty. You won't know what's Batty. This bat is Batty.
Okay, so the next episode is called Miniature Golf, and this one is kind of wacky if you ask me. So Zack is asking out a girl while Carrie is trying to do a workout.
4, 5. Yeah, that's just my brother counting off how many one-arm push-ups I'm doing.
I don't know why all the gags involving Carrie Martin are something about working out or getting fit for something or being old. Like, I feel like she's a little bit more complex than that. Zack tells Cody that he wants to go on a double date, and Cody's like, okay, fine, I'll bring Barbara. Barbara's been seen a couple times before, most notably when they were working on the newspaper, and their relationship is interesting. I feel like Cody as a boyfriend is a lot more nerdy than Cody as a normal person. Like, even with Bailey in Sweet Life on Deck, Cody just has this way about him where he's romantic by talking about flashcards or things he's learning, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how girls are into this. But yeah, he agrees, and they all are gonna go miniature golfing. In the B plot, apparently London is a part of a book club. She enters, and one of her first lines are,
"Hit me, candy girl,"
which is super disrespectful. Imagine one of your friends came over to your house, snapped their fingers, and said, "Mint me." I don't like that. They're reading the book Pride and Prejudice, which is really funny because London is like, oh, the main character is Pride. But yeah, Maddie has issues with that because I guess she doesn't want London to be smart since she has that.
There's no way I'm gonna be left out of a club. even if it means reading some boring old book.
Want to be part of Lend Maddie $1 Million Club?
Sorry, I don't get my allowance till next week.
So they get to the miniature golf course, and the lady taking tickets is really wacky. They really like making their adult characters, like, dopey to the point of incompetence. But you gotta admit, she's really funny.
This pencil is broken.
They're all broken. Lousy kids.
So as they do mini golf, Zack ends up being such a poor sport, being disrespectful at almost any turn. Even Cody recognizes this, and I don't remember Zack being such a poor sport in a way that I've never seen him be this rude. Meanwhile, Maddie is still annoyed at what's going on with the book club, which is like, come on girl, do something else with your life. You don't have to be an advocate for everything going on. Because she gets offended when the book club doesn't talk about books. It's like London and her rich friends, and they're just gossiping. And then we get Alexa Nicholas as a guest star. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but she was famously on Zoe 101. Didn't have a good experience with it, but you guys could check out her channel if you want to get into that. Maddie challenges the group to actually read the book, and they accept it.
In fact, we're gonna start right now. Who's hungry?
Me.
Then we get more of Zack being a jerk, and I didn't think he could take it even further, but the girl ends up being offended too. Let me just say, if I knew Zack Martin in real life, I would not be playing Mario Party with that guy. So Zack vows to beat this girl at the game, with Carrie and Cody trying to give him a little bit of clarity on the fact he's being a jerk, but he's still determined to prove that this girl is not as good as him. You know who gets wrapped into it? Yeah. Marion Mosby. Zack's playing golf in the hallway, and instead of getting super angry, Mr. Mosby is like really into golf, and he's like, I could teach you a few things.
You golf?
Gee, I was kind of expecting more of, I want you out of my hotel this instant, you diminutive demon!
They're like practicing golfing in the lobby, which why would Mr. Mosby agree to? The golf ball goes through all these like creative spots, but it reminds me of like the Pee Wee Herman movie. So next thing you know, they're back at miniature golf, and he's trying to redeem himself. He's pretty much a sore winner now, and even worse.
Oh yeah, hole in one! Who's laughing now, Mr. Hippo?
The three other participants have to walk out, and I'm like, why did they even agree to go with him again? Meanwhile, the book club reads the book, and everybody's like triggered, being like, oh my gosh, how could she fall for such a poor man? Maddie's like, it's love, it's supposed to be love. And their perspective on the book is so wildly different than them that it's like kind of like a plot twist. Alexa Nicholas has really funny lines in this scene too.
That'd be like my brother dating Chelsea.
Oh, just because my family's yacht is smaller than yours, you think you're better than me?
Well, yeah.
All the rich kids pretty much fight each other for who's the most rich, and it's the most London Tipton fight I've ever seen. With everybody throwing food in each other's face, I feel like this is like the 50th time this season that food has been in somebody's face. In the end, Carrie talks to Zack once again about being a sore loser, and he decides to apologize. And she kind of accepts it, which is really wacky. I don't know why this girl accepts the apology so easily. I would never talk to him again, especially how little they know each other. And Cody, of course, doesn't care that much because he's just gonna reset next episode.
I want him to apologize. Apology not accepted. Yeah, I couldn't care less.
Overall, this one was a lot of fun with Zack and Mosby. I wish we narrowed in on that. Maybe Mosby was a part of teaching Zack how he can't be a sore winner. I guess we had a couple montages that just took that away from us. Oh well. Overall, I had fun with this episode. I mean, it's a very basic stereotype to just have somebody be a sore winner, especially getting to know Zack and Cody so well at this point. Seeing him not be able to grow that quickly is almost kind of sad. But I had fun.
Dang, I'm a good coach. You were fine too.
Okay, so now we got a really wacky episode. Disney Channel has surprised me in the past with how far they like to push some of their comedy, and this one is a little further than I was ever expecting. The episode's called Health and Fitness. We got my boy Chef Paolo back again, which at this point I feel like if you saw the punch cards of the staff at the Tipton, each of them would work for like 1 hour a month because they are rarely around in this show. It starts with everybody at the Tipton getting needles to check their blood pressure. Of course, Mosby is scared of needles, which doesn't ever have an effect with the rest of the episode, so let's move on. And it kind of leads us into the true topic of the episode, which is about sugar. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Hannah Montana episode, No Sugar Sugar, or Uptight Oliver's Alright. Yeah, they had to rename it twice. But in this episode, the character Oliver is found to have hiding the fact that he has diabetes. Miley and Lily kind of go on this endeavor to figure out what's going on with him, and when they find out it's diabetes, they essentially act immediately. They try to keep him away from sugar as if he's allergic
logic to this. Like, they monitor his eating and they get hyperfixated on the fact that he can't have sugar. But the most important part of the episode isn't about the episode itself, it's more about the reception. See, this Hannah Montana episode got a lot of conversations going, and a lot of parents that are a part of the Diabetes Association of America wrote letters to Disney expressing their discontent with the episode.
Tonight we learned a lot of important things.
Yeah, I learned that 40 kids get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes every day.
Yeah, and I learned you can't get it from eating too many sweets.
And I learned if you take your insulin appropriately, exercise, and eat a balanced diet, you can do anything and be anything you want to be.
And I learned that someday I'm gonna be good looking and I'm gonna inherit a lot of money.
It had them change one of the moments in the episode itself. Originally, the episode ended with them successfully getting Oliver away from sugar, but then they replaced it with a scene of Miley and the main cast talking about diabetes awareness, like as if it's this big plague. I can't believe we were so focused on food consumption and all this stuff when there were so much more important things going on at the time. But yeah, they felt the need to cover this topic again in another episode of another sitcom, Sweet Life. So Zach's eating a little too much sugar, and Cody points it out as if it's this big deal. Which I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm sure you shouldn't be overdoing candy consumption, but I mean, who am I to say? I get up every morning and eat zebra cakes like it's a hash brown. Cody is the first person to bring on a fat joke, and whoa, that came in strong.
This health questionnaire is really interesting. I'd like to show you, but you might eat it.
Carrie kind of cautions Zach that he could end up having diabetes, and I don't know if it should be painted in that dark of a light. Like, it's not the end of the world, it's something that people have and they deal with. The more interesting thing is that Disney actually avoided talking about candy and sugar consumption on most of their shows in general, probably because they didn't want to influence kids to be eating too much sugar. Cody notices that Chef Paolo himself got a blood result test and it came out really bad, kind of giving the main cast an insight on how Zach could end up if he keeps eating all this candy.
How bad can your blood be?
They found the bacon bits.
And Cody's kind of caring, like he tells Chef Paolo he will help him get over this issue. In the B plot, London tells Maddie that her friend is giving away a bunch of clothes, something in preparation for a fashion show at the end of the episode, and the two show up, the friend is a jerk, and instead of getting clothes, they're left with insecurity.
We can only criticize people that we pay. Fine. Your butt is huge. And you have chicken legs. That's the best $50 I ever spent.
Hitting a new low for the rich in this scenario. I really hope nobody does that in real life. But the girls get really self-conscious, which is fair, because people care about other people's approval, and you don't want anybody ever commenting on your size. They look into the mirror and they can even see it. It's like body dysmorphia. And even though they're not saying what's right or wrong about it, I do like the implication that, like, that is kind of how people with body dysmorphia see themselves in the mirror. I'm not sure if it's tackled necessarily in the correct way, but I am happy it's something we talked about back then. If anything, something that's lacking in shows today that we should be talking about. But yeah, this whole B plot mirrors the A plot in that it's all about monitoring food consumption, which in both instances is not good. Cody's trying to help distract Chef Paolo as he's making food in the kitchen. London comes in and is demanding to have food because she's probably starving at this point. And Cody is so committed to helping everybody that he jumps in between a cake for all of them so they wouldn't eat it. And it's like he's got frosting on his face. Another moment where Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is involving throwing food again.
There's still some chocolate left on his face.
Let's take it off!
Yes!
Then, as Maddie and London are trying to both overcome their insecurities about their weight, Mosby comes in and tries to give them like an endearing speech, which who in the world wants a speech from their manager about their weight? Gosh, I can't imagine what I would say if my manager called me into his office and told me I looked beautiful the way I was. I mean, I guess it's sweet. I'm looking at it from a very cynical point of view. You guys get what I mean, right?
He's gone!
Cody asks Chef Paolo to spend the night there so he could help him go a whole night without binging. Chef Paolo and Zach kind of meet up in the middle of the night, both craving sugar, and they kind of team up to get away from Cody. They head all the way down to the kitchen at the Tipton and are eating an obscenely disgusting amount of food, like dipping chocolate in gravy. I mean, this is making me not like sugar. Cody and Carrie come down, catching both of them, and they're both pretty disappointed. Carrie is a little bit more lenient because she's like, I shouldn't have expected you to go cold turkey. But Cody is more like, Chef Paolo, you're an adult, you should be able to get through this, which, I mean, I guess he's not wrong.
It's the gravy. She calls it to me like a siren song.
If a 14-year-old came up to me and is like, dude, you gotta fix your eating, I definitely would consider it. I'm not saying it's a good idea to take it seriously, but it sucks. Cody plays tough love on Chef Paolo and is essentially like, I'm gonna give up on you because it's so sad to see you self-harm with food. And that's a really interesting topic. And Cody does a really good job at setting up a boundary with Chef Paolo, because a lot of us do things unintentionally in our lives may end up in hurting our own health. Something simple as eating candy when you know it's not good for you is like a small way of kind of betraying yourself. And the way Chef Paolo does it is almost ridiculous. Like, some people have an out of control issue with continuing a habit that hurts them. It kind of reminds me of like smoking. Like back in the 2000s, there was a lot of campaigns against smoking because all these adults used to smoke. And I was one of the kids that wanted it to stop. I remember hiding my mom's cigarettes when I was little and I thought that made sense. But that's like another form of self-harm, and it's hard to watch something like that. But that's why I respect Cody for standing up for it. He's like, I'm not gonna watch this, and it's totally fair. But if this were real life, I think the adult would be like, hey, don't tell me what to do. I don't know. But I feel bad. Like, I understand what it's like to eat yourself sick, especially when you're going through something. You don't realize you're doing something like that. But that's why it's important we focus on our mental health and pay attention to what we're doing, because sometimes we unintentionally will not take care of ourselves and don't even realize we're doing it. This is kind of an interesting topic because it's not necessarily like the show got it right or wrong in this instance. It's almost like better that we're even talking about it at all, and that's always something I like to do. In the next scene, we actually have the fashion show that London was talking about a bit earlier. It's the perfect setup because obviously it's a plot line where it's all about appearance. Like, they have to walk on stage, they have to model these outfits. A very big trigger for somebody going through this counting calories issue.
I'm so hungry, I'm dizzy. And I keep smelling hamburger.
That's me. I'm sweating beef juice.
They end up ruining the entire event, like making an embarrassment out of themselves, and it's just to show that not being yourself, not being authentic, doing things that don't necessarily contribute to the well-being of your health or the relationship you have with yourself will always bite you in the butt. Whether it's food, whether it's something small as the miniature golf episode where Zack was just being a sore loser, to something as big as harming yourself with something you know is a detriment to your health. But they end up finding a really good resolve with this episode specifically. Like, the next day, Paolo actually takes Cody's words to heart, and he surprises him by making him a healthy meal, which is really sweet. And he names it after him. And then Zack tries it, and he too realizes that it's really good food.
This is delicious. What is it?
Mixed vegetables.
No, seriously.
And then it's kind of like a little assumption that everything's going to be better from here on out, and none of them will ever be insecure about body weight ever again. Yep. That's just the fake world that the sitcoms live in. In reality, obviously, this is something that people battle on a daily basis. This is something that can affect you long term, and it just further exemplifies why self-care and self-love are important. The relationship to yourself is the root for how you see life. I am a little annoyed, though, at the end, because it's Maddie and London finding guys, and they tell them that they're enough, and that's the reason they're kind of happy about it, and that's not a good reason. Like, I wish they told each other their approval is the only thing that matters, or their own, or that looking healthy isn't as good as feeling healthy. But yeah, I feel bad for making it that deep, but it is something worth talking about. If you disagree or agree with me, please put it in the comments. That's the whole point of having discussions like this, looking back on the 2000s and kind of identifying what we were really going through at the time, because mental health was not talked about super much back then, but this is definitely a good example of self-harm and how people kind of use it in ways that they don't realize they're doing.
I guess Mosby is right after all.
He always is.
Oh, so yeah, the next episode we have is Back in the Game. And this one is actually really fun. I can't believe how much The Sweet Life is talking about really important stories and then telling them in a really good way, like the one Nugget of History where they're talking about quieting black voices, and then we had the episode about diabetes, and now we're having an episode about people in wheelchairs. And I really like how they go about it. It starts with a fun cold open of a man named Daryl coming to the Tipton with a bunch of athletes with physical disabilities. He teases Mosby about giving them special treatment just because they're in wheelchairs, and Mosby is really bad at looking like that's not the truth.
Yeah, how come they can play basketball in the lobby and we can't?
You know, it's just that, I didn't want to. I mean, they're
in wheelchairs.
Are they? I hadn't noticed.
I know this guy's famous in real life too for exactly kind of what this show is about, which I love. And I love that they kind of treat him like that. Like Zack and Cody acknowledge that he's a famous figure in this world. It's pretty relevant too. We actually get a little bit of backstory that Zack and Cody had a friend named Jamie, and they briefly mention that this friend used to be really good at basketball and their best friend until there was an accident one day, and then suddenly he stopped hanging out with people, going to basketball games, that he kind of quit life. It's a really dark but something that you really care about because you're like, this is a friend of Zack and Cody. They come up with this ruse to try to get him to talk to Daryl and maybe get a little bit of inspiration that he doesn't have to give up basketball just because he's in a wheelchair now. But they trick him into coming over by saying that Jessica Simpson is there, and then Cody does a disgusting impersonation of her.
I need someone to help rub in my suntan lotion.
But yeah, Jamie shows up and he is not into it, and he is super grouchy. And it's Freddie from iCarly. Nathan Kress is in this, and he looks really young. Like, you could tell this is pre-iCarly.
No offense, but you're not nearly as pretty in person.
And that's not just in this instance. He's gonna be a grouch for the rest of the episode. I feel like Nathan Kress could have been a little bit more peppy or optimistic because this character is just so over the world. So it doesn't work on getting Jamie to be a part of the team, but Carrie is able to convince Daryl to have his whole team go against Zack and Cody's school for charity. At first they're like, that wouldn't be fair, until Zack and Cody recommend that they are also in wheelchairs. And the way they challenge each other is actually really funny. I feel like Daryl, or the actor playing Daryl, must have been in the writer's room because all these jokes are so funny, and I don't know how they're able to dodge being offensive so easily because it just seems natural the way they're talking about it.
How did you end up in your wheelchair?
I'm in a wheelchair. Holy cow, why didn't no one tell me?
I mean, the 2000s were a different time. I think things were a lot more offensive just for the sake of being offensive, but they're not doing that here. Like, they're doing a good job with this. So Jamie doesn't agree to be a part of this, and everybody in Zack and Cody's friend group play basketball in wheelchairs, and they are horrible. Like, they can't possibly make it work. It's really hard to be in a wheelchair, and it's good to see them actually learn that up close, being how young they are. Like, you should be learning about people different than you and kind of how they go about their life.
Don't worry, guys, you'll catch up.
You really think so?
No.
They're still trying to get Jamie to be a part of it, and this guy is not having it. He is grouchy every time we see him. He does not like this world. And I feel bad. I feel like we should have got a moment where he's like missing basketball or actually has a positive feeling about wanting to get back in the game, but it just seems like Zack and Cody are not taking no for an answer, and it's kind of looking like they're jerks. But before we move on, we gotta talk about the B plot. It really doesn't have much to do with this episode. A lot of the time is taken up by the basketball event because it's a lot more interesting, but Maddie apparently is given a video production assignment, which it's like, are you serious? You guys have a religious school and then also a video production department? Like, why do you do that? And she's making this like narrative film and asks London to be in it. London's a little disrespectful at first, but then she kind of gets excited about it. They bring in Lance, they bring in Mr. Mosby, and every character gets a moment of desperation, essentially. Seeing the actors pretend to not know how to act as their characters is always something that's super funny. I just like that trope of people playing different parts when we as the audience know what they're truly like.
I'm sorry, but I run a hotel, not a charity. Now out on the street with you!
And without trying to get too into it, essentially, it's Maddie being the straight man and every other character pushing her buttons up until the very end when it turns out that she re-edited the video to make it look better. And that plot ends pretty quickly. I mean, it's a funny side plot to what's really going on, but it's super unnecessary.
So, as you can see, it's not easy making a student film.
Hello? Hello? Hey, is this thing on?
But yeah, next thing you know, we're at the game, they're playing basketball, and I like that Arwen's still involved, he's still the coach, and he's in a wheelchair too, it's kind of funny. Daryl notices how bad the team is playing, and then he notices that Jamie's there, watching the competition. He kind of has a little one-on-one talk with him, and gets Jamie to realize that maybe he does want to be involved in this. Which, even in this scene, he doesn't look interested. He looks so angry at the fact he would even have to get involved. He jumps in, we have a quick montage where it makes it look like they played a game of basketball when really we all know that they were just running around a court filming. Nathan Kress wins for the whole team, Zack and Cody are happy, and they give him a new life. He even joins Daryl's basketball team. Good for him. It's definitely like a win for the way Zack and Cody said his life went. Like, this poor kid had a horrible accident and lost his lust for life. So to see him come out on top like this by the end of the episode is pretty heartwarming. I'm happy they like ended it like this.
All I want is a car, a house
house for my parents and $50,000.
How about instead I teach you how to use sympathy to pick up girls? See that one over there? Been hitting on me all week.
Nathan Kress does a pretty average job at looking like he could be in a wheelchair, but I don't know if people in wheelchairs are that grouchy all the time, Nathan. My favorite joke is when Nathan Kress says, "I just happen to be rolling by," and there's not even a laugh track during that joke. This overall is a really fun episode. I like this new tone of diving into deeper topics without necessarily taking them super seriously. A lot of these writers were involved in the show Full House, but at least Zack and Cody takes things to a much more comedic level and actually doesn't pander to kids. Not that Full House isn't a good show. I'm not gonna get those Full Housers stuck up in my comments, but you guys know what I'm getting at.
Jamie, you got game. And as for the rest of you guys, I hope you're better on your feet.
Okay, so the next episode is a really good one. This is the first two-part episode in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which is crazy because it's season 2, episode 36, The Sweet Life Goes Hollywood. Originally, this was actually planned to be the season finale of the show, which I would have been excited. I'd like two-part episodes being season finales. But since it's a kid's show, I guess they just didn't take it as seriously, because there's randomly 2 episodes at the end of the season. So we see a bunch of strangers in the Tipton. This really tall man and a short man. That's the best way I can describe them. Zack and Cody think they're really sus, so they try to warn Mr. Mosby.
We heard their whole conversation while our ears were accidentally pressed against their door.
Almost every character finds their way into the lobby because of Zack and Cody, making it a really entertaining experience in the lobby. Which, by the way, 90% of the stuff that Zack and Cody are doing in this scene should be illegal. The two men say that they're writers in Hollywood, and they actually think that Zack and Cody are the most interesting thing in this hotel. They invite them to come to Hollywood with them and kind of consult on the series about all their misadventures, and it's really exciting because Maddie already was getting tired of the snow. London says they're gonna all be able to take her private jet, which is really exciting and definitely makes me wonder how she wasn't able to get out in the sweet life on deck if she could just do that. We finally see the cast outside the hotel, which is really nice. I love it when they do adventures like this, and as long as it's not iCarly, I go to Japan, I think we're gonna be in for a good episode. The montages go on for a long time, and it's really hard for me to take out the fact that they probably record this whole show in LA anyway. And they go to the LA Tipton. Oh my gosh, that's so funny that the Tipton is that popular. They could have so many locations.
I can't wait to see our luxury suite.
You're kidding.
Well, I guess if you've been to one Tipton, you've been to them all.
Mr. Mosby is kind of fixated on the fact that it's not as good or well run as the one in Boston. As an adult, I'm really liking that everything in LA is fake because it's so kind of true, and it definitely is the perfect breeding ground for comedy. They go to the writer's office, and it's this dingy little shared common area. And I don't know if I got this when I was younger, but a lot of these are at the Hollywood writer's expense. One by one, the writers talk to the characters about their experiences at the hotel, and Zack and Cody are the most interesting. Surprise. But I really like seeing the characters talk about their own experiences. Like, you never see Mr. Mosby have an excuse to talk about what he likes and doesn't like about the hotel. He's just kind of there responding to things.
What's the funniest thing that ever happened at the hotel?
One time, we ran out of pillow mints.
The cast go to the set, and it looks exactly like the Tipton. Why? Because they probably use the same set. You can see the lighting grid on the top, and I have no doubt that's the same set. London tries to use the elevator immediately, and it doesn't work, which is, I find that hilarious. All the characters have a double, with Zack and Cody's mom being like ridiculously young for her age, and London being played by a guy, who surprisingly captures her essence really well. Like, I think this guy's really funny.
But I would never date Maddie. She's not my type. She's poor.
Yeah, and who did her hair? An egg beater?
You are me! Yes!
He definitely reminds me of Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not sure if you guys get that, wink wink. And the boys playing Zack and Cody are these snotty kids that are just spoiled and into the acting game. I imagine kids actually being there and wanting to enjoy the fun and adults viewing them like this. I definitely don't think kids ever act this spoiled, but that might be an exaggeration. Everything quickly turns around when the producers don't like the little kids and want to replace them with Zack and Cody.
Dibs on Zack! Oh, you're always Zack!
And that's where we end our
our first part. We jump in right where we left off in the second part, but now excited because Zack and Cody are going to be playing themselves. And now it becomes a question if they're going to need to stay in LA at this new Tipton or going to be able to go back to Boston. And I definitely am sad because I want them to stay. We get a glimpse into the fake show and all the other actors are so disorienting. Mr. Mosby and the girls leave the set to go explore Hollywood. And Ashley Tisdale has never looked more like Sharpay Evans in this moment. Not even when she played Sharpay Evans. Her and London go off when they see this actor that's kind of a parody of Johnny Depp. So they crash a set as stunt doubles.
Now, which one of you two specializes in falling off of tall buildings? Great, then you can both do the fall.
And of course they have no idea what they're doing, which I am excited about because I always find those scenarios hilarious. Zack and Cody are on set, and now they're playing themselves, with Cody kind of falling under the pressure. They talk to fake Mosby, and the studio audience really doesn't like them. And I feel bad. These guys are really trying. They want to do this. Meanwhile, Maddie and London get to meet Johnny Depp, and everything's great. Just kidding. They make them fight in the mud, which is really unnecessary, and are replaced when the real actresses have to kiss him. So yeah, that B-plot is not so glamorous. It's interesting that they didn't introduce it to the second part. I guess they just ran out of stuff to do. Then Zack and Cody start to argue on set to a point where they get physical. And that's perfect because that is just what they do.
Hey, where you going?
I'm giving my boys a timeout.
There's no timeouts in show business.
Oh, there is if you want a show.
I vote we give her a timeout.
In a really random beat of dialogue, they bring on another set of twins that are musically talented, sing for the audience, and then they replace Zack and Cody with these singers, which I guess everything in television happens for a reason. Is that what they say? This was a really good episode, super well worth it, and I remember loving it at the time. It does remind me a lot of the iCarly episode. It's called iCarly Saves TV, and pretty much the same thing happens. Like Carly and Sam and Freddie all go to Hollywood, and then they're replaced one by one with different actors, different situations, and it's really funny. So you gotta love plot lines like this. There's something about people being inauthentic as characters that I just find super amusing because it takes a really talented actor to act as somebody acting. You know what I'm saying? And they captured the chaos of the sweet life in a really comedic way. There's something about it that feels like they're inviting us in on the Hollywood inside jokes, and I'm definitely here for it. As somebody who grew up on the East Coast and made the transition out west, I definitely feel like it was an accurate portrayal.
Don't worry, Mr. Mosby. We promise to behave.
Thank you.
You don't mean that, do you? Nah, I just don't want to hear Mosby crying all the way back to Boston.
So episode 38 is called I Want My Mummy. In this one, a famous Indiana Jones parody guy who works at a museum is bringing all of his artifacts to the Tipton. Esteban is really freaked out about this because the mummy, something Kwee-Kwee, carries an ancient curse with her.
My village lies in the shadow of Queen Kwee-Kwee's pyramid.
But it looked like no one had been near there for 1,000 years.
Right. Because, as I may have mentioned before, it's cursed!
I remember seeing this episode, and the Tipton employee that follows Mosby around in this, he's like from the country. I feel like they just needed another actor to be a part of this that's not Esteban, because he has to follow Maddie around this whole episode. But he's really funny. I wish he was in it more. Mr. Mosby apparently isn't gonna be here, so it's up to this guy to keep Zack and Cody away from the mummified body. But little did he expect that Maddie and Esteban are trying to figure out what's going on.
What exactly does this curse do to you?
Your skin melts off, your eyes explode, and your hair bursts into flames.
Oh, that would so put a damper on prom.
I don't know why this has to be Maddie's entire personality. She's just the one that's like, I am defying everybody in this situation. And I feel kind of bad for her. Like, I feel like things don't always work out in her favor, and that's why she needs to kind of like only be an advocate for everything else. But you know what? She's a really interesting character as it is, and very funny. So it's not like I'm bashing it. I just want to kind of understand where she's coming from as a character. They find out that it's not a real mummy. It is a doll wrapped up in gauze. So Zack and Cody are fighting as they take the mummy with them. They end up knocking it off a cliff. Oh wait, not a cliff, the Tipton. You know what I mean. It's a metaphor. So Cody has to be mummified and make up for it, which does not sound really thought out. Like eventually he will have to breathe.
The worst plan in the history of plans. Okay, then think of another plan, and while you're thinking, hold this.
It's funny for a moment because it seems like he's actually considering living the life of a mummy, which is like, Cody, you can't just do that. Esteban and Maddie have to lie to the new Tipton employee to get into this room, and they're so bad at it, it's hilarious.
Protesters are tunneling under the ballroom as we speak to steal the exhibit!
What do I do? You need to go to the kitchen and get all the pudding you can carry.
London helps bring Zack into the room. Esteban and Maddie end up leaving with Cody the mummy, which, let's recap, there are 3 mummies so far and none of them are real. Everybody runs to the lobby when Cody actually starts moving as a mummy and people are freaking out. I don't think it looks that threatening, like it's not even a curse, it's just a kid in a costume. I don't know why everybody's falling for this. So yeah, in the end, it turns out to just be a ploy to get some merchandise, and this fake Indiana Jones impersonator is caught, a true hero of corporate America.
This necklace is probably plastic. Here, Maddie, you can have it.
Actually, the necklace is real emerald.
Thanks for holding it for me, Maddie.
Mr. Mosby comes back and Skippy is really guilty and admits to him that the museum thing didn't work out, so they have the Tipton's greatest treasure. Turns out people are just showing up to wave to London Tipton and walk out the door, which she's not lying. I do find it crazy that Mosby wouldn't find out until right then. Nobody told him this whole museum thing was an entire hoax. We're just gonna move on, okay. Overall, a really fun episode. I feel like Zack and Cody kind of took the back seat a little bit in this one, but I really do like an ensemble episode, and the ensemble episodes are really what makes Sweet Life stand out, because everybody's funny. Esteban's funny, London's funny, Mosby's funny, and the fact that they're all looping around in this one mummy scenario is just hilarious. Like, I like this. As we close out season 2 of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I'm glad we got like a lot of really good episodes, even though it feels like it's been going on literally forever.
It dated circa 3000 BC. It's really old.
That leads us to the season finale. I'm gonna cry. Episode 39 is called Aptitude. And this is one of the episodes I surprisingly remembered the most. The boys are taking an online computer test that tells them what they're gonna be when they grow up. And we've seen this in plenty of 2000 shows. It's that whole idea that technology can give you insight onto something more. I think Zoe 101 did this when they were having dates be paired up. They gave them all like personality quizzes and then they paired them up later. That's kind of what the Sweet Life is doing here.
And the winner of Boston's biggest nerd for an unprecedented 5 years in a row is Cody Martin.
I feel like this is a good way to end the second season, especially since we care a lot about how these boys grow up, and this seems to be a vital part of their personality. If I was old enough to expect a season 3, I would be really curious on how this panned out, considering this is the final one. We get another glimpse of Patrick bugging Mr. Mosby because his whole B-plot is trying to get a new podium, which I've never been more bored. London apparently just got back from Morocco, which right before she just got back from Peru. It feels like she's just returning home all the time.
It's so wonderful there. During the day, it's so bright.
And at night, it gets dark.
You've been there?
Some of the questions on this test are really ridiculous, but I do find it funny that Zack is trying to cheat off Cody for a moment. Like, of course, this is like the one test that you don't even have to worry about that for. The results say that Cody is going to be a janitor and Zack is going to be a CEO, which I find hilarious. It is such a good premise to have this identity issue with both the boys. Like, Cody is heartbroken, and I would be too, because I was somebody that cared about my future a lot when I was in middle school.
Mine says that I'm gonna become a Keo. What the heck is a Keo? That says CEO. Excellent! What's a CEO?
London decides to bring her Moroccan themes with the Prime Minister at the Tipton, and when they don't get the right dancer, they have Maddie step in. Oh my gosh, this has to be cultural appropriation. This guy ends up choking and Maddie has to save him. This scene's kind of gross, so I'm gonna kind of move on from this. So Zack and Cody pretty much switch identities, with Carrie being super confused.
At that rate, that's an annualized gain of 31.2%.
Dak, did you just do math?
I I guess I did!
She tries to appease both of them by saying the tests are inaccurate to Cody, but then accurate to Zack because she wants them to feel good, and it's just, I mean, it's a typical mom thing to do, but it's not helpful. Poor Cody is depressed, saying, what's the point? And hair is up and at him. We have Zack in this whole fantasy of him being a CEO and what it would actually be like, which I don't think it's accurate. There's no way he's gonna make such an unrealistic amount of money for not doing anything. And then we have Cody having the same kind of nightmare, taking from where Zack left off, and he's the janitor that cleans up everything Zack does. Meanwhile, the whole prime minister situation gets Maddie on television because she saved somebody's life. Like, that's a big deal.
So tell us, who does your hair?
I do.
So in order to fix this whole identity crisis, Carrie takes the boys to the assessment and testing center where they created the test. And I wish I could have done this when I was in middle school taking these kinds of tests. Who remembers standardized testing when they all like put us in separate rooms and then made sure they were like testing our aptitude and it didn't really go toward our grades or anything? That's a 2000s throwback. It turns out the creator of this whole thing is actually kind of a loser. I don't know how to describe him. They tried to make him look like a loser.
They sell fat-free donuts.
Well, I have a complaint.
Fine, there's a little fat in them.
This insight kind of gives Cody the confidence to not listen to the test, and Zack just feels like it's a ripoff because he could end up like this guy. Maddie's plot ends in a really anticlimactic way, where it turns out something more interesting happened on the news, and not only is she not famous anymore, but a dog has taken her spot.
Maddie, remember how you were in all the newspapers yesterday? Uh-huh. Well, that makes you yesterday's news.
So yeah, depressing way to end the season for Maddie, for sure. And just like that, we're finished the entire second season, guys. Oh my gosh. That was way too long. 39 episodes should not be the length of any season of any TV show ever, unless they're 5 minutes long and equaling like 20 episodes. It's hard to argue that there's not real gems in there, like really good episodes, but there were a lot of duds too. There's a lot of like impersonal episodes that I feel like didn't necessarily have to do with the Tipton too much, or was more like boring and none of the characters got to shine. But I gotta admit, this third half of episodes really surprised me. Like, they threw stuff at the wall, covering topics and issues that I never thought a Disney Channel show would have to cover. And since they were so popular at the time, they could get away with pretty much anything they wanted.
What I'm trying to say, I dated a guy in a wheelchair once. Maybe you know him.
Carrie, listen, I was just playing around. I have a girlfriend.
Oh, is she in a wheelchair too?
No, she can walk. Maybe you know her.
It's so sad to think this show's only 3 seasons, but it's good to know that the second season literally is worth like 2-3 seasons. Moral of the story is The Sweet Life Season 2 is a wild roller coaster of content. And I don't know how to sum it up because of everything it's been through, everything I've been through watching it. But I'm so excited to dive into the 3rd season. It's gonna make fall really fun. I think I'm gonna take my time on this one and split it into 2 parts, but actually dive super deep into it. I'm not sure if you guys saw yet, but some of my new retrospectives are out. I did a Sunny with a Chance one recently. I've been diving into Danny Phantom as my new cartoon, and some Cartoon Network content has been coming out. If you really want to get insight onto these networks when the networks were at their prime in the 2000s, make sure to check out some of my other videos. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I am just so grateful to be able to do what I'm doing. And for any more shows you want me to cover, don't forget to comment below and tell me your favorite episode from this show.
Yay, you!
Brendan, you've never yayed anyone but yourself.
You're right. Yay me!
Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Johnny 2000 signing off.